had a conversation just before the air, and I realized something yesterday afternoon, and it is this, for those of you that, and I'm not milking this, though I have been accused of it, last week, diagnosed with Bell's palsy, the left side of my face doesn't work, and I came to the conclusion yesterday evening as I was having a conversation with the lady friend that if I speak in what most of you have tried to tell me is a regular speaking voice, then my mouth almost works normally. It is when I revert back to my traditional radio voice that I encounter issues with the pronunciation of certain words, in which case Lonzo said, we'll just do the whole show in your NPR voice. So here we are. So I'll offer you the choice, text line. Do I do the whole show in this voice? Do we go with the Rob Brown Show muted edition? Or is this creeping you out as, you know, in previous versions of the show, this would be the point where Diesel would turn off my microphone and just host the rest of the segment himself. Hello, Lonzo. Welcome to the show.
Well, you know. He is so susceptible to the jump scare. It's
I really am.
It's not.
I really am. I'm not talking like that the whole show. I can't, you and I both know good and gosh darn well that I can't go 3 hours S-ing TFU. You know I can't do it. I can't do it. Oh, what is happening today? My eye just started crying for
well, it's because I scared you so bad.
That's
it. Yeah, scared the tears out.
What it is.
Yes.
Texter says, man, I got work to do and I'm about to go to sleep, meow. Another texter says, let it fly, Rob, unless it could damage your health.
Did someone say meow?
Yeah.
Like
I'm
this?
about to go to sleep, meow.
Meow? Like this?
Texter says, Rob, big props to you for pushing through. I had Bell's palsy years ago and it's not easy to deal with. You to man. That's from Thomas. Thomas, thank you, bud. Listen, if this, Lonzo, is the worst thing that happens to my health this year, I had a pretty good year. I think I'm understandable, so we keep going. You know, what else am I going to do? It turns out, and I didn't know this, I don't have 6 months of sick leave banked up to take off. You know?
I just got to say that a slowed down, muted NPR voice is still an amazing show. So don't let anyone tell you anything different.
I wouldn't dare.
There's just, somewhere out there, someone's listening to this radio program with the bass hiked up, and you just killed it. Every time you go NPR, that bass is just under there, man.
Rob, you sound like a mid-morning host on AM radio, LMAO. Thank you very much.
Oh, I thought they said LAME. Yeah.
This other people say that.
Yeah, okay.
Years ago, I was so I've made the joke about my NPR voice for years. And a number of years ago, 7-8 years ago, there was a young lady. Texter says, can you sell me life insurance with that voice?
No, man, funeral home.
Yeah.
Come on.
Welcome to the last place you'll ever rest. So years ago, I was talking about the Masters, and we were having the conversation about, the start to every Masters opens with Jim Nantz. Hello, friends, and it's like it's a classic tradition amongst the golf fans, and so a number of years ago. We were talking Masters, and there was a young lady I was talking to at the time. The kids say talking to now, not courting, it's talking to. There was a young lady I was talking to at the time, and she found out who I was and what I did in my station, and she's like, I'm gonna tune in and listen one day. And I said, yeah, that's fine. And a couple of days later, we're talking about the Masters, and we start with the Nance voice, and I had committed to a bet that I would do an entire segment about the Masters strictly in the NPR voice. Ladies and gentlemen, coming up at 7:30 a.m. today off the tee, Bryson DeChambeau will have his first swing in the shotgun start over on 10. We'll see Kevin Na. Right? Whole segment like that. Well, I get to the end of the day, and I get a phone call from this young lady, and she's like, I have to tell you, you kind of train wrecked this discussion about us potentially dating. And I said, why? And she said, because I turned on your show and I heard you talking about golf, and your on-air voice was the sexiest thing I've ever heard in my life. The NPR voice. She said it was the hottest thing I've ever heard. And then I was like, let me stick around and listen to this guy a little bit longer. I'm kind of feeling the voice. It's kind of hot. And then the next segment, you come back and start screaming into my ear like a lunatic. And I'm not going to lie, it kind of turned me off and ruined the whole moment. And anyway, Lonzo, shockingly, that relationship did not work out. Because, and this is true, I was apparently too loud. Shocking.
That,
I know.
As someone who monitors levels for a living, is completely unbelievable.
You'll never see Lonzo as frustrated as you will when I switch between voices. Texter says, Noah radio called, you're hired. Another texter says, your NPR voice, Rob, is amazing. Just don't say courting again. It's an old word. Yeah, it's an older word. Hey, we should probably do a sports talk radio show. What do you say, Lonzo? Should we do that? I think we should do that.
Let's do lunch.
This is a very nutritious lunch. All the food groups are represented.
You guys are here. What in the wide world of sports is going on here? Lunch!
Keegan said, the fiance asked if I listen to you yell every day, and I said, yup, basically. Yup, basically. The worst part about this whole thing is, Lonzo, it's not the voice. I can soldier on through that. It's when Lonzo makes me laugh on the air and I smile. That's it. That's genuine, Lonzo.
Yeah, and I can't unsee the two things.
So if you wonder why I dive behind my microphone every time I laugh, it's on the stream.
I think I have some batarangs in the office. I might need to bring them in here.
Oh, man. The lunch breakdown of 3 things you have to know before we go start talking sports with your friends, family, coworker, or the dog. That's the one word I can't say on sports talk radio is sports. I have to hold my mouth closed to do it. Item number 1 on the lunch breakdown today. Yesterday announced, I kind of like this story. I'm kind of intrigued. Rob, you sound like Paul Bearer right before an Undertaker versus Jake Paul match. You guys are the worst. NASCAR.
Right away.
That on sports talk radio today. NASCAR announced yesterday that the 2022 preseason clash, it's been the clash at Daytona the last few years. This year's NASCAR preseason race, or I guess I should say next year's NASCAR preseason race, will take place, Lonzo. How about this? On the playing surface at the LA Coliseum. The Coliseum going to be hosting a NASCAR race. the football field at the Coliseum will end up being converted into a quarter mile asphalt short track. So not only, Lonzo, are we going to run the big boys at the LA Coliseum this year, we're going to run them on a quarter-mile track, a demolition derby of sorts. The Clash is NASCAR's preseason exhibition race. It got a new look at the beginning of the 2021 season when it moved from the Daytona International Speedway 2.5 to the Daytona Road Course this year. But for the 2022 season, another entire and total makeover. NASCAR has been in serious talks and is on the verge of finalizing a deal to move the Clash to a, quote, purpose-built short track at the LA Memorial Coliseum for the exhibition in 2022, according to The Athletic. The idea to move the Clash to the Coliseum, the famous home field for Trojans football, which is also hosted to Olympics, 2 Super Bowls, and many other major events, is different, is likely pretty gimmicky. But here's the thing, in sports, we talk about this every time there is one. So gimmicks work in sports. Gimmicks work.
Do they?
Yes.
Do they really? If you say so.
Do you not think they do?
I don't know about a NASCAR. I think NASCAR is more steeped in tradition than most sports, and I think it hurts the sport when you move things away from where it normally is. But I could be wrong.
That's a gimmick, though, right? Like, that's the point of a gimmick. It's not to say we are completely changing
Yeah,
the
but
sport.
why do you have to use a gimmick? You use a gimmick because you're not doing well and you need to gin up excitement or attention. And if you resort to gimmicks, it doesn't look good on your sport.
Gimmicks are used when things are stale. It's to spark a little enthusiasm into the sport. It's to generate a little extra interest. And I'll tell you, it works, right? That's the same thing they said when they started putting road courses onto a NASCAR circuit. It's a gimmick. Why do you need gimmicks? Well, look at the gimmick now. Gimmick now's got 3 or 4 road courses a year that work. It's a good idea, and I'll tell you why. Coming up in just a little while. Texter says, Lonzo, this might be the greatest text we've gotten on this show. Texter says, may the Swartz be with you. Another texter says, the listeners are about to make this show hilarious. Yeah, thanks, everybody. Item number 2 on the lunch breakdown. Ron Rivera has now gone on the record and announced that he is not interested in bringing former Carolina Panthers quarterback Cam Newton into the fold after Ryan Fitzpatrick suffered a hip injury that will force him to miss at least 3 games while on injured reserve. Rivera also confirmed backup quarterback Taylor Heinicke will start in week 2 against the New York Giants.
It's completely acceptable for you to go NPR voice talking about an old man with a hurt hip.
Sports. May the sports be with you. That is the meanest, funniest text I've ever gotten in my life. Ron Rivera said that the Washington football team, it's so weird to still see their name written as the football team. The football team.
It's kind of arrogant. It's kind of like saying we are
football.
The football team.
Oh, it would almost be like.
No, you're not.
It would almost be like if you stuck the out front of a university's name to claim you were the only state university that mattered in that state, Lonzo. That would be arrogant.
It's a necessary clarification when you have 2 universities with the same, very similar
right,
name.
And you're like, no, we are the.
Yeah.
And y'all are and.
Yeah.
Like it would be like it'd be like if they were like, we are the football team in Ohio. It'd be arrogant, wouldn't it?
Well, it would be like saying we are the number one radio show in the state of South Carolina,
Right,
according
but-
to the South Carolina Broadcast
Right,
Association.
but there are no other number ones.
It would also be like me saying I am the Lonzo because people cannot say my name without putting an A on it. Sometimes you have to do things for clarification.
The dystopian nightmare is too cool. I was going to change your name to the Lonzo. TH''Lonzo. It's your new D&D character, the Lonzo.
It's fine. At least I'm not going to go THEE, which, you know.
The E.
Yeah.
Shermer added to the practice squad earlier this week behind Heineke and Kyle Allen, who will serve as the backup. Rivera seems content with that group, said that he will not be pursuing Cam Newton. So I bring this up for one reason.
Hey, don't you think it's funny?
Alone.
He brings all the backups from Carolina there.
Yeah. But
Kyle,
the starter
Kyle
from
and Heineke, but no Cam Newton. And I thought everything was good with them. So maybe not.
Peter King said that Ron Rivera believes that there's a couple of things that are here, and that one of them is that Cam still wants to be a starter and he would not be an insurance policy. Second off, apparently Cam Newton remains unvaccinated, an issue that causing some problems in New England. And Ron Rivera, who is one of the most outspoken coaches in the National Football League about wanting his players vaccinated, is not willing to roll the dice on Cam Newton. So those two things have cost Cam his well, not his career, but this season.
Yeah, if it was Patrick Mahomes available and he was unvaccinated, I think Ron Rivera would change his mind.
You are probably correct. You are probably correct there. But it's not. Cam Newton is not Patrick Mahomes, and that is an issue. Item number 3 on the lunch breakdown, and this one is going to be very, very interesting, and we're going to talk about this one more in depth later on in the show, because I got like 2 different real deep stories that I think are going to require some nuance to them. And y'all know I love a good conversation regarding the necessity of nuance in order to successfully have those conversations. The U.S. Soccer Federation has taken a big step in what has been a massive controversy surrounding the pay structure of its 2 senior national teams. The U.S. Soccer Federation announced yesterday that it has offered identical contract proposals to the United States Women's National Team Players Association and the U.S. National Soccer Team Players Association, which represents the men, with the goal of uniting the 2 teams under one collective bargaining agreement. The press release that they put out said, quote, U.S. Soccer firmly believes that the best path forward for all involved and for the future of the sport, I got to do that every time now, sport in the United States is a single pay structure for both senior national teams. The proposal will ensure that the U.S. women's national team and men's national team players remain amongst the highest paid senior national team players in the world, while providing a revenue sharing structure that would allow all parties to begin anew and share collectively in the opportunity that combined investment in the future of U.S. soccer will deliver over the course of a new CBA. If either party does not agree to the proposal, U.S. Soccer says it will invite each union to sit in on negotiations between its counterpart and the federation for full transparency. We're going to bring this conversation back up later because, again, I think it's one that needs some interesting nuance, and we will add it because that's what we do. Texture says, today's Rob Brown show may possibly be the greatest ever. Really? So I got to tell you, we won an award for all of last year's. I'm just saying. So when we come back here in just a minute, we got a lot of things to break down, including why those who are panicking on Trevor Lawrence's week 1 need to chill, bruh. Relax a little bit. We got a lot left to do. But also, the Jacksonville Jaguars are the worst team in the NFL. So where's the balance? Where's the balance? All of that and more coming up next. My name is Rob Brown. Lonzo is pushing the buttons today right here on the Rob Brown Show and ESPN Upstate. Harley Davidson of Greenville wants you to be able to experience some of the best riding in the country. I've been riding for about 7 years, and I got to tell you, when I got the job up here in the upstate, one of the very first thoughts that I had was, hey, look, how do I get the bike up there? How do I get the motorcycle up there? I have to. Why? Because I've been in the Blue Ridge Mountains. I've been up across the South Carolina, North Carolina border. I've ridden across the Midlands. I've driven around the upstate, and I have loved it every single time that I have. And I want to live that life up on two wheels. So I did. I brought it up. And once I got here, immediately started working with Harley Davidson of Greenville to make sure that my experience riding around the upstate, the Midlands, the Low Country, the Blue Ridge was as good as it can be. And with Harley Davidson, it will be. Not only are they going to help you find the bike of your dreams, the perfect bike for you, the colors you want, the paint scheme you want, the finish you want, the gadgets, the gizmos, the rims, the tires, everything you want. But once you get it done, they're all for you, helping you set it up, helping you maintain it, helping you keep it tricked out and customized. Go to 30 Chrome Drive. That is their showroom. You're going to see all the brand new 2021s and the largest pre-owned inventory in the upstate at 30 Chrome Drive, or check them out online at upstateharley.com. That's upstateharley.com. Yes. We're working on it, Josh. I appreciate it, man. Thank you very much. You know, we're trying. It's a day at a time. You know what I mean? It's a day at a time. What are we doing over here?
I'm trying to. You just worry about your own self.
No, I'm asking because I might have a solution if you're doing what I think you're doing. Are you trying to get that to where it won't move?
No, I'm trying to get it to stay at an angle.
Gotcha. Because I have in my office some Velcro tape that you could put it where you want it and then stick it down. And Diesel could still rip it up when he doesn't want it used. Give me some attitude when I'm trying to help.
Hey.
When I'm trying to help.
Don't try to out MacGyver me.
I'm not. I'm trying to co-MacGyver you.
Trying to out
It's
MacGyver
a
me.
team effort, Lonzo.
Yeah, but you come up with your own solutions. And I want to come up with mine, and I want to make it work.
Fine. Just do it. Just do whatever you want. Just do whatever you want. See if I care. See if I'll even help. How do I have 6 voicemails? I don't think 6 people have called me in a month.
See, that's just too hot.
Don't say anything to Alonzo. He'll get mad at you for trying to help.
It's not true. I'm not mad. I'm thinking. I don't want to fail, and I don't want to ask for help because that would be failing.
I'm just trying to decide, trying to figure out specifically what you're trying to do. Like the angle you're trying to accomplish here. Tilt the camera. Sorry.
I'm trying to get it to stay like that. Is what I'm trying to get it to do, which it used to do, and now it won't. I mean, it's fine, but someone moves around a lot and hits the table, or whatever you want to call this thing. It's because I don't because it will block the TV, and Diesel will just take it down. Yes. Here's what it does. It blocks it becomes a point of reference when you're watching. You can't help but look towards it. And I know he'll just take it down every single day. And I'm not going to tell him that he can't move it. So because What's everything about you, Rob? I want to be successful in what I do, and I appreciate your help because I know you. Really, you want to help me? Stop doing this. Matt World in the next break.
Oh, God. Oh, you guys, the stream, facebook.com/ESPN Upstate, twitter.com/ESPN Upstate, and search The Rob Brown Show on YouTube. Lonzo's trying to adjust the camera, offer to help. He says, you want to help? Stop going. Slamming the desk. You know what?
And you immediately just did it and moved the...
Catch your attitude with me when I'm trying to offer to help you. Unbelievable.
I appreciate you more than you'll ever know, but you got to give me room to grow, Rob. I got to figure things out on my own.
I'm a peacock. You got to let me strike.
The fly. But still, I thank you for that reference, though, because that's one of my favorite movies of all time.
The Other Guys. One of the only Will Ferrell movies I genuinely enjoy.
Right. And that's the thing. Few. He's kept in check except for the exchange with the old lady being the go-between. That was a little hilarious. That was a little rough.
Hilarious.
But yeah.
Can I
what do you
guys ain't never done a desk pop before? So, hey, you know what? Speaking of jokes, I'm gonna do this now. I got yesterday, Norm Macdonald passed away. And Norm Macdonald was one of my favorite comedians of all time. I've always loved Norm Macdonald because he's so painfully awkward until he just slaps you with the punchline. Can you give me clip number 1, Lonzo? Clip number 1 was Norm Macdonald. And I promise I'm not going to we're going to do all the sports coming up. Norm would get a kick out of what's happening.
I can't.
Sports. The sports.
May the sweats be with ya.
Spaceballs, the movie. Spaceballs, the lunchbox. Norm Macdonald had a way with jokes that he would just make things awkward and continue to make them more awkward to the point that there were times where Norm Macdonald was telling a joke and you would worry about his mental health. And then he'd hit you with the punchline and you'd go, you've got to be kidding me. This is Norm Macdonald on the Conan O'Brien show about 4 or 5 years ago, telling what might be my favorite TV joke of all time.
When I was young, there was a fella went by the name of Jacques de Gautier. And he was from Témiscamingue, Quebec. And Jacques de Gautier, he was a fella that really thought. And he was smart, you know. He was our hope, I guess. And he was, while I was scrabbling to get out of high school, Jacques Zagatineau had already...
I think he just changed his last name.
Well, you know, a man grows. But this is the point.
Yeah.
Jacques de Gatineau, he went to McGill University and he got 3 degrees, by golly. And he went over across the pond to the fellers with Cambridge, and he even stood up to them. Mm-hmm. And we thought, boy, he's going to be the next. We had Jean Marchand, Gérald Tertier, Pierre Trudeau, the 3 wise men of Quebec. By God, Jacques de Gatineau was going to be the next.
Give me the next gun.
Yeah, but he vanished. And I met him. I started to do stand-up and travel from here to there and to here again. And one time I was in Niagara Falls. And gosh, I went over to the SeaWorld there. You know how they have the SeaWorld? You know, with the different fish. You know.
I didn't know that, but okay. Yeah. Yes.
Beluga.
The SeaWorld. I've been there many a time.
Okay, so I was checking out the beluga whales and stuff, and I look over, and who do you think I see?
I hope it's that guy.
No, it was just an attendant, but he showed me to the place I wanted to see, which is where they feed the little baby dolphins, because I love dolphins, you know. And who do I see there but Jacques de Gatineau? And here he is, he's feeding the baby dolphins. And I go up to him and I go, Jacques de Gatineau, I feel shame for you. You were our hope. You were to go to Canada, Canada's nation's capital of Ottawa. And you were to be a great man, Jacques de Gatineau. And we were all, you know, we pinned all of Témiscamingue, Quebec, pinned our hopes on you. Now that's a hell of a burden for a man to have a town's hope pinned on them, isn't it, Conan?
It is a big burden.
So he was feeding these baby dolphins, you know, and I said, I'm ashamed of you, Jacques de Gatineau. You could have done so many great things. And he said, I think I'm serving a youthful porpoise. Now I believe that...
No! I knew that was going to happen. I knew that was
You don't encourage that!
Conan, I forgot his name for a second. Conan O'Brien, we encourage that forever. Lonzo, that's how you tell a joke. You stretch it and stretch it. And to the point that people are going, is Norm okay? Is Norm gonna make it? And you get to the end and you drop a 30-pound hammer of a dad joke on the audience. That is how comedy works. No prisoners, no awkwardness, no sides, Lonzo. 3.5 minute setup. The world's worst dad joke, and then get out.
You know, it's bad. So I was in and out of the office, and I heard Rob recording this. Seemed like forever, because every time I came back in, he seemed to be on the same spot. Never made it to the punchline. So that's the full.
I love it. I love Norm Macdonald. I do. I love Norm Macdonald. I mean, again, Lonzo, my favorite joke I've ever made on the air was the cat lawyer. You know, the glove don't quit or don't fit, you meows to quit. Like, yeah, those are Norm jokes. But I stretched when we did that cat lawyer segment. We stretched that segment out, Lonzo, for how long? 7-8 minutes. We did that segment. Just making fun of the old guy with the filter. 7-8 minutes. And I want you to know, I stretched that segment out for 8 minutes to get to. If the glove don't fit, you mouse to quit.
So
I stretched it out for that.
The entire time I have thought that was spontaneous, but that was actually you were trying to get to that point.
Working to that pun.
Okay.
I was working to that joke. And
it doesn't lessen it for me. And actually I think it has grown in stature now.
Yeah. But that's it, right? Like Norm would set you up for 3 minutes of just awkward nothing with there's just nothing there to hit you with, I think I'm serving a youthful porpoise. What a hell of a joke, man. Norm, RIP, buddy. You were the best. The absolute best. All right, when we come back, let's talk Trevor Lawrence in Jacksonville. Can he rebound from week 1? And Urban has made his first comment on USC. Might he bail and open the door for somebody else to take up the mantle of trying to coach up Trevor? We'll address that next. Rob Lonzo, it's ESPN Upstate. Mad World is open now, ladies and gentlemen. The #1 haunt in South Carolina. They have more scares, more scenes, more actors, more props, more set designs, more special effects than ever before. Grab your friends, grab your family, and get ready to scream. Whether you're a kid, a teenager, or just a big kid at heart, you will have an incredible time with their interactive set. And this year's haunt will be their most expansive to date, with one of the most technical and immersive haunt sets in the entire United States, topped off with more scenes, more actors, and more scares. Mad World is not your daddy's haunted house. It's not just a haunted house. There are escape rooms. There are scary carnival games. There are concessions, a bonfire every night, photo ops that are incredible and make for great cards, by the way, a gift shop. And this year, the brand new 18-hole Ghost Town Mini Golf. It is scary entertainment for all ages, including families, adults, teenagers, and the adrenaline junkies at heart. Get your tickets now. Do not wait in line. And yes, folks, there are lines. Go to madworldattractions.com, madworldattractions.com. Don't wait until Halloween weekend to go. Go get your tickets now at madworldattractions.com. It is Mad World. See, I said something about it yesterday, and then I blew it today. Dadgummit. Bum, 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 bum.
This feature sponsored by Dell. Dell's semi-annual sale for business has arrived. Save up to 45% on Dell computers with Windows 10 Pro. Enjoy specials on Dell docks, monitors, and servers. Succeed anywhere with Windows 10 Pro. Call 877-ASK-DELL to speak to a Dell Technologies advisor. That's 877-ASK-DELL.
As the official team doctors for the Clemson Tigers and U of SC Gamecocks, Prisma Health Orthopedics can give you and your family the same care we provide top athletes. If hip and knee pain is making your daily life difficult, seek the best care. Find out if joint pain is affecting your quality of life.
Hey, you know what we're doing tomorrow?
Fight Club. No, I won't be here. You want to come on March and do Fight Club? You should. Bowling. We're not doing that. We are doing that? I'm so confused. Are you telling me to promote it?
Yes, as I did,
Yes.
like, you know, and I'm trying to be a little more subtle about it. Yeah, well, no. Don't make me just go get bowling sound effects.
Please do. Just drop them randomly throughout the show.
I wonder if I have that thing in here.
To our door, and guess what? Our sex life is back. It works.
Right now, get your first online provider's visit totally free when you go to forhims.com/joy. Yep, free. No copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations.
Snowman keeps sharing this the bowling thing, which is great, but he makes it to where I can't share it anywhere else. So I got to make my own now.
Exclusive address, forhims.com/joy. That's forhims.com/joy for your free online visit. forhims.com/joy.
I'm Serena Williams. You watch me live on TV. So why am I in a British drama you watch on demand?
I skip times. What did I do?
Sure. It's because DirecTV Stream brings the best of live TV and on demand together.
Oh, quite the dance.
Mr. Jeffries, you're making me blush. Introducing DirecTV Stream, the best of live TV on demand with no annual
Mr. Jeffries.
together at directv.com.
Otherwise, nice speed internet and compatible device. Content varies by package location. Restrictions apply. Navien tankless water heaters, the proven leader in condensing technology. Request a Navien because you deserve the best in endless hot water delivery.
Is Carson Wentz a ginger?
Tankless water
Yes.
and find a Navien contractor.
He is.
MadeSimple.com.
I'm Christine Lisi at this hour. Packers quarterback Aaron Rodgers has shown a lack of work ethic as opposed to years past. Lacks one leadership quality as he doesn't take blame for himself. And backup QB Jordan Love is ready to start soon. Those were just some of the opinions of former Packers tight end Jermichael Finley when he joined Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max today. Finley also said the loss to the Saints in Week 1 was concerning and attributed that to a lack of preparation. You can listen to the entire interview with Jermichael Finley.
Let's go find an older teammate who probably didn't really like this person too much and have them come on and slam him. Golf card in the next break.
Want to invite you guys one more time to join Stoneman's Bad Bowlers Club. We're going to kick off next Thursday. You can join by going to sparetimeentertainment.com/Greenville or ClassicRock1011.com. We want you to get registered to come hang out with us. I am going to be there. Zoe is going to be there. Diesel is going to be there. And I guess Stoneman's going to be there too. Whatever. It's fine. It's cool. It's whatever. You know, they're like, hey, Rob, we want you and Zoe to run this Bad Bowlers Club, but you're going to have to hang out with Stoneman while you do it. I'm like, all right, fine, whatever. Bowling, I guess.
Just proof that we'll do anything to bowl.
True story.
Yeah.
True story. Here's the thing, though. We have room for X amount of teams. We are starting to fill up. And what Lonzo and I want is for the majority of the teams to be signed up through and because of ESPN Upstate. We want the majority of the lanes there. We want the majority of lanes there to be filled up by ESPN Upstate fans. So what we need you to do is go to sparetimeentertainment.com/Greenville or ClassicRock1011.com. SpareTimeEntertainment/Greenville or ClassicRock1011.com. Both of those sites have tabs on them that say Stoneman's Bad Bowlers Club. Click on that. Get yourself signed up to come bowling. It's a 10-week league. It starts next Thursday. It is going to go all the way for those 10 weeks, and it's not a league per se. It's not like we're showing up and showing out for a great bowlers league. It's literally called the Bad Bowlers Club. There are going to be different games and different styles of games and different things every week. So everybody has a chance to win week in, week out. Lonzo, me, Diesel, and Stoneman. There's going to be a live mic. We're going to be mocking each other and maybe you. We'll see throughout the 10 weeks. So go to sparetimeentertainment.com/Greenville or go to ClassicRock1011.com, ClassicRock1011.com, and get signed up for Stoneman's Bad Bowlers Club. You can come bowl with me and Lonzo and Diesel, and I guess Stoneman. Whatever. It's fine.
Or just, if you are someone who likes to bowl and you're like, yeah, I don't want to go there, this is competitive, just come out and bring your team and have a good time. And, occasionally just look over and watch us make fun of Stoneman or Diesel. We keep leaving it out like we're going to make fun of Diesel. We absolutely
Constantly.
are. I mean, that's a given, but I just wanted to point out that he is definitely fair game and easily rattled. So if you, when you sign up, you can feel free to also heckle Diesel. As a matter of fact, I encourage it. And when you do it, you can say courtesy of Lonzo.
Yeah.
I'm good with that.
My target is Stoneman at this point. Stoneman has done enough to take my sights off of Diesel and move them over to him. But, it's got to start somewhere. So anyway, go to sparetimeentertainment.com/Greenville or go to classicrock1011.com. Get signed up for Stoneman's Bad Bowlers Club and come bowling with us every Thursday, starting next Thursday, all the way for 10 weeks. All right. So this Trevor Lawrence thing, we got to talk about it for a second. Trevor Lawrence had a day. He had a day on Sunday. Like, it wasn't good. It wasn't bad. It just was, right? 3 touchdowns, 3 picks, lots of yards, 23 interceptions. And I'll tell you, a good chunk of it, I think, was because of Herb's game plan, which seemed, again, my favorite word this week, rudderless. It just wasn't there. Can I just tell you? Don't panic yet. Don't panic. Texter just said, Lonzo, speaking of smack talk, ESPN, you 2 trees and that stump of a man from England will be a sight, LOL.
Especially together.
Yeah. And with Diesel's schmedium ass in between us, it's going to be hysterical. I can't wait. So anyway, it's too early to panic on TLC. And Lonzo's not a Trevor guy per se. But I was going through the NFL wrap-up sites yesterday and today, Zoe, and I see people that are like, Trevor Lawrence, it seems lost in the game plan. He seems this, he seems that. I didn't see a whole heck of a lot of game plan that really impressed me, right? And granted, the Jags are banged up. Travis Etienne is out. He's going to be a major part of it when he's healthy. But Lonzo, it's way too early for people to be panicking on TL16. If you're going to panic, it needs to be about Herb and the game plan, not Trevor.
See, again, and I'm going to point this out every time because you're going to do this every time, blame it on Urban Meyer. Now, is part of it his fault? Yeah, part of it's his fault. But here's what the quarterback is doing. Trevor Lawrence is doing what he's done against really good defenses. And it was his very first game. I think it's too early to judge either one of these guys. And by blaming one or the other, that means you had expectations. I don't have expectations. This was the worst team in the league. A brand new coach.
I got news for you. They're the worst team in the league still.
Yeah. Yeah. So if you
It does happen, but it's rarely. Very rarely. We're going to talk more about this as the show rolls on because I saw some people panicking. And I got to tell you, y'all got to chill, man. It is way too early. Way too early. The people slamming TL16 are just wrong. Quick break back after this to wrap up hour 1 on the Rob Brown Show and ESPN Upstate.
golf cart.
The 2021 Upstate Golf Cart is on sale right now for you. And if you go to upstategolfcart.com, upstategolfcart.com, you can go pick yours up. $50. You're getting 9 rounds of golf at 9 beautiful courses all around the upstate. 9 different styles of golf, too. I think that's my favorite thing about it is I've knocked off 5 of them so far. I got 4 to go, and then I may pick up another one just for the fall and the winter. I don't mind a little cold weather golf. The beautiful thing is you got all different styles of golf to rotate through. You got a couple of links courses. You got some mountainside courses. You got some roll-in courses. You get a little bit of everything to challenge golfers of all ability levels. It is one of my favorite things that has happened since I moved here. I did it last year. I did it again this year, and you can get yours now and learn exactly what I'm talking about by going to upstategolfcard.com, upstategolfcard.com. Get yours now, $50, and you are going to be good to go. It's the 2021 Upstate Golf Card.
All right. So question for you.
Yes.
When you say next Thursday, what do you mean normally when you say
not
next?
tomorrow, but next Thursday.
Okay. Because
Is it not starting?
look at it closer. No. If I understand. right now for about a minute.
I've been following the Trevor Lawrence story, and I like I said, it's blowing my mind how many people I'm seeing are like, oh, this guy's freaking out. I've seen guys giving him like D- and D's, and they're like, he didn't really show us a lot to grow on, didn't show us a lot to push forward to. It was a nightmare of a debut, but as Lonzo said, very few rookies come out and kill it in week one. Here's the problem. I told you. I know Zoe thinks I'm doing it just because I hate Herb. And don't get me wrong, I dislike Herb. That's not wrong. But what part of Herb's game plan in week one did you look at and go, that's clearly working? That's clearly the right call. There was none of it. I don't think the game plan was drawn up for Trevor Lawrence as a passer. I don't think it was drawn up to match the skill set of the wide receivers on the outside. I think Herb brought his Tim Tebow game in from Florida, brought his Ohio State I got stars in, and it didn't work, and it's going to be at the detriment of Trevor. Hour 2 next on The Rob Brown Show, ESPN Upstate.
How many other coaches would have come in and won that game that are in the game right now, that are coaching in the NFL right now?
Oh, I have no idea. I couldn't.
Maybe
answer that
two,
question.
maybe three.
I
With the
can tell
roster
you-
they have,
I think
Andy
there would've
Reid
been-
probably could have won. Belichick maybe won, but he can't even win with what he's got on his own team.
I think there would have been plenty of coaches in the league that would have had a better game plan drawn up for Urban Meyer.
I disagree. I disagree. I
Lawrence.
don't think that there are too many coaches in the league right now who could win with that Jacksonville team.
I didn't say win with the Jacksonville team. I said draw up a better game plan to suit what Trevor Lawrence is in week one. Because he did.
How do you know what Trevor Lawrence is until you actually watch him play in the NFL? We know what he was in college.
We had 4 preseason games.
Yeah,
with
we know what he
Burzard.
was in college. So let him a defense that's supposed to be not that great, and if he struggles against them, which he did in Houston, then you.
The argument here is, did they struggle because Trevor Lawrence isn't good, or did they struggle because Herb's game plan didn't allow him to be good? And I say, obviously, the argument that I made is correct because that's what we did.
Well, here's the thing. So what you're saying is that there is a coach out there that could have won with his team. That's what.
No.
Yeah, but you are saying that.
No, I'm saying you could have had a better game plan. It
If
doesn't
you-
mean you would have won, but it would have been a better game plan. It would have given you a better chance. At winning.
What's the end result? A chance means that there's a chance that they could win. But you just said another coach could. I'm not trying. I'm having a sports argument here. I disagree with you, and I don't think there's a coach out there that could win with that team.
You're still not like you're still saying that I'm saying win. I never said win. I said
So
have
then
a better
so
game
the-
plan, and there
but-
is a difference.
So you just want them to look good. I want them to win.
I want the game plan to suit Trevor Lawrence, and it didn't.
And what coach out there would have had a better game plan for him?
Sean Payton, Andy Reid, Bill Belichick.
Bill Belichick,
Matt
you can't.
LaFleur,
I can say you can't
Sean McVay.
pick a coach that actually won this week. So you can't put
It's-
Belichick
no,
in there.
Lonzo, it's not about winning.
It is about it's only about winning. Winning is all that matters. That's what they get paid to do.
I like that we just had a better segment off the air than we had on it. I think Lonzo and I just had a better argument off the air than we've had on it in weeks. So let's do that now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, bring it.
Yeah.
Would you
Maybe
like?
How
Would you,
about that? Meet me outside. How about
yeah.
that?
Yeah. We're talking.
about winning. It is about
It's
the
only
game
it's
plan.
only about winning.
It's about the game plan that allows Trevor Lawrence to play his game and grow as a quarterback. It is not, I don't know. First off, I'd like it on the record. Don't tell me the Jags couldn't have won that game. The Jags were a 3.5 point favorite going into that game. 3.5 point favorite. They were 3.5 point favorite going. You picked them to cover that. Okay. So game, correct?
Well, according to you, they should have won. If they,
Happened.
okay.
Trying to kill you on the stream. He keeps stressing you out and knows you only have one good side left. I didn't have one good side to start with. Here's what I'm unhappy with. It was not about winning the game. Although I think the Jags could have won the game. I think Tyrod Taylor's a better quarterback than he got credit for. I told you that when we made our picks last week. In fact, it's one of the picks I got right. Was Houston to cover up the 3.5 that Jags was favored. So the Jags were not just could have won the game. Vegas expected them to win the game. Here's what I'm worried about. Here's what I don't love. Trevor Lawrence came into that game, and the game plan was not cut out for Trevor Lawrence. It wasn't a game plan that took advantage of Trevor Lawrence's strengths. It wasn't a game plan that took advantage of the strengths and capabilities of DJ Chark, of the guys that are around Trevor Lawrence. This isn't about finding a game plan that can win. This is about finding a game plan that allows Trevor Lawrence to grow as a quarterback to become the franchise guy. We can go back to Peyton Manning's rookie year, the year that Peyton Manning threw more interceptions as a rook than anybody else. But you can go back and go, hey, look, the game plan was there to grow around Peyton Manning. And he did. And it did. I don't see that. What I saw was Herb coming in and going, this is what we do here. Well, it's not working. Right, but this is what we do. Right, but it's not working. Trevor, 3 touchdowns, sure, but 3 picks, 300 yards, sure, but also 23 incomplete passes in that game? The game plan was not structured around what Trevor Lawrence brings to the table. And if you're not going to build the program around Trevor Lawrence, why'd you draft him?
The best player on the worst team is still the best player on the worst team. Can you elevate, or do you come down to the rest of the team? He came down to the rest of the team. He did not elevate. That's not his fault. It's not Urban Meyer's fault. It's the fault of the entire team. He's not going to do well until the next couple of years if he stays upright and they start bringing in other pieces, a better offensive line, a better defense, a better everything, and then he has to make better decisions. Urban Meyer's game plan did not cause Trevor Lawrence to throw the interceptions he threw. We talked about that. He threw to guy.
So, there are people who fail because they're bad at the job. And then there are people who fail because they're set up to fail at the job. Lonzo, you've been in jobs you've been set up to fail, right? Like you get there and you're like, even if you did not fail, you were set up to fail. You show up and you don't have the right equipment. You don't have the. I worked at a bar a number of years ago. And on one of the first days I got there as a bartender, I walked in. Lonzo, the beer coolers were not plugged in, so all the beer was warm. The liquor was locked up in a storage cabinet, and we couldn't get in. We had to call a manager. The manager lived an hour and a half away. We didn't have time to get him there to get the liquor out. So when the bar opened, I had no cold beer, and I had no liquor, which I know you don't go in bars, Lonzo, but those are the two things that you sell in a bar, like number 1 and 2. And so here I am at this resort, and my big boss says, hey, man, you got to work today. And I'm like, right, but we have no beer and we have no liquor. You should close the bar till the manager gets here and we get some cold beer and some liquor. And he goes, no, go ahead and open up and just placate the people. With what? They are there to be placated by drinks. The point is, I was set up to fail. And when the owner came in later and he saw that I had $0 in sales for the first 2 hours the bar was open, he came at me. Well, why weren't you pushing food? Because nobody comes into a poolside bar at 2 p.m. for food. They're in here for drinks, and you didn't have none, and you're blaming it on me. Set up to fail. That's what this was. Trevor Lawrence was set up to fail by a game plan that did not highlight the strengths of Trevor Lawrence.
Every number 1 draft pick who's a quarterback is set up to fail then because they are brought in to the worst team in the league that year. So every single one of them is set up to fail.
No, absolutely not. Was Cam Newton set up to fail as a rookie when he got to Carolina? And did he fail as a rookie when he got to Carolina?
Cam Newton was able to elevate the team. Cam Newton also came into a better team than what Jacksonville.
Because Carolina set the game plan up for Cam Newton, not expected Cam to fall into their game plan. There's a difference. Did Baker Mayfield fail as a rookie when he went to the Browns? The Browns absolutely were the worst team.
Well, a lot of people would say yes, and they've been trying to get Baker out of there every year, even while he's doing well now because the experts don't like him. Kind of like Urban Meyer, so they want him out of there. So they'll find any reason to say, well, you're just a quarterback away. Ironic, he's just throwing a touchdown on the screen right there. So yeah, they would like. They don't like his attitude. Same. It just I don't understand the argument because there is no other reason to play the game other than to win the game. And it doesn't matter how good you look or how bad you look doing it. It's about the W. That's all that matters.
Right. But how you get to getting W's is important, right? Like that's like saying it's the
wow.
I asked you, Lonzo, to compete in a race this weekend from here to Atlanta on the interstate. And it's everybody who works in this building. And you show up to the race day, and I toss you a set of keys. And that set of keys is to a Ford Explorer. While I'm in a Ferrari and Diesel's in a Porsche and Mark Ryan's in a Corvette. You are going to say, I'm set up to fail.
No, I won't.
You're not. You're going to go, I can win in this Explorer.
You know what? Because that Ford Explorer is built to take impact, and you guys will be wrecked before we start, and I win the game.
As the SEC fans will tell you, you can't hit what you can't catch. But that being said,
if we all start at the same time, chances are I'll be given the pole position because I have the worst vehicle, and even from behind, I still would wreck every single one of you.
Calm down, you blue shelling dude.
Win.
Blue shelling machine.
Win.
All right. Game plans and how game plans work matter. Setting up, somebody just said, never mind. Game plans matter. And how game plans come together matter. there's a lot of different moving parts about whether a rookie quarterback succeeds or not. One is, can he do it? Does he have the talent? Do you think Trevor Lawrence has the talent to be a success in the NFL?
Yes and no.
Yes and no.
I think he has the arm talent.
Yep.
I think there is mental strength that needs to come later. I think there's some
learning how to lose.
I think there's some panic in him.
Okay. I think
I've seen him too many times when he's made mistakes over on the sideline, talking to his coach and looking tearful. And if another player would have done that, they would have been thrown under the bus.
I think Trevor Lawrence has the talent to be an NFL success. Part of it is the head strength. And we're actually going to talk about that coming up in a minute with another example from the game of tennis about head strength and athletes having head strength to succeed. I think Trevor Lawrence has all of it. I do think he is I think he needs to be polished, but I think he has everything that needs to be had to be successful. The second thing is you've got to have a game plan around you that fits as a quarterback specifically.
Did Jameis Winston have a good game plan when he was a starter? I'm not talking about now when he was in Tampa. Yeah. Did he have a good game? Did he?
Yeah.
And
around Bruce Arians,
how much?
Big whisper.
How much did he win?
Yeah, but
how many interceptions did he throw?
Do you think?
And what did it have to do with game plan? No, it had to do with him.
Correct.
Because he threw too many interceptions.
What's the first thing I just said? The quarterback has to be talented, and I think Jameis Winston was the least mentally capable.
You put Trevor in position that Jameis Winston was in. He's throwing just as many interceptions and things. Yes, he is. Yes, he is.
Not. I could not disagree.
You're right. Due to tip drills and things like that. There were tip balls.
There were 3 or 4 that were sailed over wide receivers running off routes. If you put Trevor Lawrence in the Jameis Winston situation with Bruce, I know how to coach a quarterback, Arians in Tampa Bay, Trevor Lawrence in Tampa that year, that Jameis's first couple of years, has one of the greatest rookie come out parties of all time.
No way.
Absolutely.
No way.
Me right, Lonzo right. Texter 71307 Ingles Market text line. If we put Trevor Lawrence into Jameis Winston's situation as a rookie in Tampa with Bruce Arians at the helm, Trevor Lawrence has a rookie coming out party that we are still talking about today.
Here's why this
text line 71307. Vote Rob or vote Lonzo.
Here's why this is a trap, and I don't often invoke politics, but I'm going to say this. This is like going into a Democratic stronghold and asking people if they like Donald Trump. Of course, people are going to say Trevor Lawrence would win there. We're in Clemson country. They're going to say he could win anywhere. He didn't win his last college game. He didn't win when he went up against really good defenses. Does he have the potential to? Yes. And it's not about preparation from the game plans. It's about him being mentally stronger.
What was so many Clemson fans' complaint about when they got rocked by OSU the next day? We were on the air. There were shows at the time, but we were on the air. What was every Clemson fan's complaint? The game plan was garbage, and they were right. They were right.
No, Clemson lost that game because of emotion. And equally, 2 teams that are fairly equal.
I think you vastly appreciate how important having the correct game plan in place can be. Having sets of plays that are catered to the talent that you have and you have around you. I think a game plan can make or break whether you win a program.
I am curious, and there's no way we'll ever know, if it would have been a different coach, would you have been saying the same thing?
Yeah. If the game plan was the same?
Yeah. But
you have heard me critique people I really like on this show before. DJ Uiagalelei, Tony Elliott. Those two guys were both incredibly nice to me the 2 times I've met them, and I've ripped both of them in the past week and a half. I'm not unfair when it comes to my criticism. I will rip those who I like, and I will compliment those that I don't when they do well. Ray Lewis, great player. Alleged murderer, but great player.
We knew this going into the season. If Trevor Lawrence doesn't win a game this year, it's all going to be put on Urban Meyer. He's not going to get any of the blame, and he deserves some of it. It's too easy to go at the coach and blame the coach when part of it is the quarterback's fault. You know who else's fault it is? The running back and the left tackle and the DBs and everyone on the team. But Urban Meyer will get the blame instead of, poor play by some of the players.
844-477-3776, 844-GSP-ESPN. Texas at 71307. Texas says, I vote for Lonzo. Even in college, Trevor Lawrence tended to throw high because he had a pair of 6'4" wide receivers. Texas says, I vote Lonzo. Y'all are sleeping on how talented Jameis is. He threw all those picks because he's not scared to take chances. ESPN, game plan is boss, but a baller is a baller and will win games. Yeah, in basketball. In basketball, that's true. Take a break. When we come back, Brandon Fricky of the Greenville Triumph joins us here on the Rob Brown Show. Triumph, big win over the weekend. We'll talk some Greenville footy when we return on the Rob Brown Show and ESPN Upstate.
That's
Texter said, Rob, that's a lie. I have never heard you compliment Jake Paul.
you're not like overly stressed because we were, I'm just checking because
No, having sports arguments is the only arguments that I'm comfortable having. It's everything else that I hate confrontation.
Like, are we bowling? Are we not
Correct.
bowling? Yeah.
Correct.
Whoa, dude.
The red, sorry.
I mean, the eyebrows. Look at the eyebrows.
He's going full old man of the sea.
Why not?
Yeah.
I mean, he knows he's on his way out.
Angry old ginger.
He's ready to move in that cabin. It's probably like game 3. He'll be hitting that cabin. So we just saw Andy Dalton on the screen, and his eyebrows, man, those things are huge. And they're really pointed. I don't know if he did that on purpose or not. Although there's a picture of it. No, they're normally that angle. It's just. It looks like Endeavor, and Bob has no idea who that is. You do, though. Good on you.
All right, let's keep it going. The Rob Brown Show's back on your radio. This is ESPN Upstate. Rob Lonzo. And now to the phone lines we go to welcome in a young man who played some damn defense this past weekend as your reigning, defending, undisputed USL League One champion Greenville Triumph, a 1-0 win to knock off the team at the top of the table, the Chattanooga Red Wolves, on Saturday night at Legacy Early College. Mr. Brandon Fricke joins us here on the show. Brandon, my man, gotta be feeling good. Back-to-back wins for the boys, including one over the team at the top of the table. How we doing, young man?
Hey, Rob. Yeah, thanks for having me. I mean, like you said, it's definitely a great feeling. Kind of 2 massive wins to kind of hopefully turn the tide in our season and get us in the right direction. So, we're hoping to build on that and feeling good headed into this weekend.
You talk to me a little bit about that, Brandon, because, we had a handful of weeks there. I mean, for the better part of a month and a half, almost 2 months, with no wins, a couple of draws. We had some guys on, players, coaches, front office, who were saying it's all about the mentality, right? It's all about focusing on what's developing, focus on what's in front of us, not what's behind us. Back-to-back wins for you guys. And in this Chattanooga game, especially in the second half, because there have been a lot of first half goals followed by second half letdowns, you guys seem like a different team, mentally composed, focused on the play at hand, etc. Talk to me about the mentality of this team in the last 2 matches versus what was going on in the previous 6.
Yeah, I think, like you said, during that tough stretch, we were really focused on, continuing the proper mentality of building towards something, and things just weren't kind of falling our way, and we kind of got away from some of our, defensive foundation principles and the work ethic and the effort in we kind of said the final yard of a lot of plays, and that's where we were getting let down. So approaching those last couple games is kind of, let's get back to basics, focus on, really putting that effort in that last yard. Can we make the last tackle? Can we grind in that last little bit? And that's where it makes a difference. And, staying glued in for 90 minutes, like you said, as opposed to, spells here and there, 45, 60 minutes where we were getting let down with little 5-10 minute periods that were hurting us in games. Can we really stay glued in and focus mentally? And it was one of those where, once you could kind of feel it and guys were buying in and it was working, it kind of rolled down the hill from there. And, and everyone was buying in and everyone was starting to do that work and everyone was covering that last yard. We were getting the blocks in, we were defending as a group, and obviously having the goals go in as well was a huge help defensively, because it just takes so much pressure off. So, hats off to the guys going forwards for getting those goals and, just build the more positive mentality within the group that we can hopefully continue to build on.
Brandon Fricke, defender for the Greenville Triumph, joining us here on the Rob Brown Show on ESPN Upstate. One of the things that I noticed, both home and away games, Brandon, was it kind of felt like there was this, look, there's a reliance on the front line by the back line to have the front line continuing to press the attack and push the ball up so that you guys can be on the same page across the back line, and vice versa. The offense a little less able to be tenacious with the attack when they are having to fall back to kind of provide support for the back line. The last 2 matches, you guys seem to, as a spectator, really be playing with a renewed sense of chemistry and communication, whether it was Dallas 2 games ago, then he gets the red card, I think an unjustified red card, but called nonetheless. Paul DeWall this past weekend was spectacular in the net, both as a keeper and a communicator, a field general. It just felt, at least from Section 110, Brandon, that you guys kind of had a renewed sense of communication. Was that something that you guys worked on to lead up to these last 2 matches, or was it just something that, hey, sometimes it clicks and it didn't for a little while?
I would say it's a little bit of both, honestly. We kind of, like I said, we were maybe trying to work on too many, a little more complicated stuff in the weeks before that. And instead we kind of said, let's go back to what got us success previously and not worry about kind of the things down the road from that, and just get back to the fundamentals and working hard and covering each other. And a lot of that comes down to, like you said, organization and communication. And it's just about doing it. And then once you get, 1 or 2 that fall your way, you kind of create your own luck in this game, and that hard work, and you kind of feel it start to turn a little bit. It's really easy to feed off that positive, and for a while there, it was really hard to push away kind of some of the negative stuff. So it's kind of vice versa. Now we see it fall our way a few times. Guys are getting those last plays in, and it turns, and guys kind of feel the tide turning the right way. So I'd say it's a little bit of both. Like, we consciously worked on getting back to basics, communicating with each other, like you said, building the chemistry again, working for each other. And then once you see it start to work, it builds upon itself. And it just creates more success. So we're hoping to continue in that way. Tucson's a great opponent, but hopefully we can build on what we've done these last 2 games and be even better.
Yeah, a couple of back-to-back wins for the Greenville Triumph, and now you guys get Tucson on a Sunday night this weekend. How important is it to keep that momentum, right? We watch the good news is, as we watch the table develop while the Triumph were picking up 1s and 0s on the leaderboard here and there, the good news is you never really fell out of contention. There's a big jumble right in the middle of the table between teams that are all in playoff spots, but you guys have climbed up to the top. You took 3 away from Chattanooga this weekend at the top to give you a little help. How important is it to keep that momentum going against Tucson at home this weekend to add another 3 to the table?
Yeah, It's massive for sure. I think if you look at the table, like you said, it's very congested in the middle, and Tucson are right behind us. And they're definitely in a good run of form. So we need to build off what we've done these last two games, and especially at home in front of our home fans. They've been a great push for us these last two games as well. I think we have to give them credit where credit's due. They never faltered in supporting us, even when chips were against us a little bit. So credit to them, and we got to reward them as well. They lead us, and we give them something to cheer for as well. So it's a two-way street, and we want to continue to reward them for the support they've put in good performances at home. We look at home games, are kind of the ones we want to attack and dictate and get the 3 points and put on good performances. So, we're going to continue to work this week and really try and build on what we've done, and how can we dictate upon Tucson what it is that we're good at and really cause them troubles and hopefully continue a good stretch here.
You guys had to play without John Harkes last weekend. Head coach out due to a COVID test. He had a breakthrough test or a breakthrough case of COVID, so he was watching on ESPN Plus like everybody else. Without him out there, and I know you guys have Coach Rick and an incredible staff and, a game plan that's relatively consistent. We talked to Harksey a few weeks ago, and I asked him, when you're in a bit of the doldrums like you are right now, do you start look into changing tactics and formations and personnel? And he said, look, we got to do what we do and play Greenville Triumph football. How true was that this past weekend with Harksey sitting on the couch at home?
Yeah, I think you nailed it on the head. It's kind of, stick to what we've worked on. They say, when backs are against you or when you're in a tough position, you go to what your training is, right? So I think, we've built this foundation, we've built this training for a long time. And obviously, we like having John there, but the staff behind him, Alex, Rick, Ryan, like you said, they know what's expected. They know the brand and what we want to accomplish on the pitch. So we had a lot of trust in them as well. And, obviously it's a little different. It feels a little different going into a game without someone that's always there. But I think the group leading into the week really put in the effort to be a group and knew we were going to have to put it in for each other and help them along as much as they helped us along. So, some of the older leadership guys took it upon themselves to really help guide the team and make sure things got done. And the standard was kept high, and we really believe in what their message was. So you put those two things together, and it's easier to walk onto the field and still accomplish what you're going to do without, the guy at the top there in person. So I think it was a good week of preparation leading us into that.
Brendan Fricky, defender for your Greenville Triumph, coming off of a 1-0 win. Here's one I'm kind of interested in. As somebody who really appreciates the psychology of sports, Brandon, you guys were up 1-0 at Chattanooga, and there were two separate opportunities. Don Smart had a whale of a shot from about 30 yards out that missed just left, and then I want to say it was Donnelly or Abdi, one of the two, had a shot come off the right post that 2 inches left, and it dings in to give you guys a 2 or 3 goal lead. Instead, the lead sticks at 1-0. Chattanooga is pressing a little harder in the second half. They're kind of pushing up the field in greater numbers. Knowing what you guys went through without a win from the 4th of July until 2 weeks ago, as a defense, was there anything in the back of your head clicking as far as, hey, we really need the pressure here to not let that happen again? Or do you guys kind of try to talk to each other and say, hey, let's focus on the here and now and what we need to do to win this game?
Yeah, I think it's hard to say that some of that stuff isn't somewhat on the back of your mind, but in the moment, consciously, I don't think we're really thinking about it. It's more of let's defend and do what we need to do to get out of this game. If I'm honest, I think we all as a group wanted to get the second goal and put them away, especially when we were up a man. And that's an area that we can, improve upon for sure, is killer mentality and really taking them to the cleaners once we had the advantage and we're putting them under pressure. But unfortunately that didn't happen. And they came out, like you said, and put us under a lot of pressure and, really put it to us. And at that point, you just got to bunker in and like we said earlier, go back to the basics, defend, fight for each other, and know that if you do the work, more often than not, we're going to get out of there with a clean sheet. We've done it before. And, despite the stretch we went on, we know we're capable of it. So I think it was just getting back to that fundamental defensive work rate and putting in the effort and, trusting in the guy next to you to do his job, that we'll get out of there with a 0. And at times that means you're going to have to defend under pressure. And we have to be comfortable with that. And, now we can hopefully build on that and dictate on other teams going forward as well for a full game. And, that's something that we're going to try and bring to our game this week.
Yeah, we talked, Brandon, with a lot of players and coaches before the season started, and one thing that kind of seemed to ring between every interview we did was just about everybody said, hey, we're not here to defend this trophy. We're out to go out and win another one. We're not coming to claim. I mean, we're here to be champions back to back. And that attacking mentality, that always forward aggressive mentality, I think is one of the things that makes the Triumph such a fun team to watch. Now that you guys are back up to third on the table right now, 7 points out, actually technically second, because Union and Chattanooga tied at 37 points at the lead right now. Knowing you guys are within striking distance, I mean, reality, Brandon, that's 3 games right there, man. I mean, that entire table could swing in 3 games. What's the attitude of this team as far as being aggressive to go out and get 3 from Tucson and let Union Omaha and Chattanooga and the rest of the league know that, hey, there was a hiccup, but the Greenville Triumph are back to being the team that won a trophy last year?
Yeah, I think we touched on earlier. It's like we've got this 2-game ride now, and we need to really build on that and continue to be the aggressor and dictate on other teams, especially on our home turf. So we're going to go out and try and do that and work hard and, try and show the fans what they deserve and what kind of products we can put on the field when we have a little more confidence and things are starting to swing in a positive light. I will say on the other side is when we're losing a couple games, it's important not to get carried away and say, oh, the sky is falling. And when you win a couple games, it's also important not to obviously get too big of a head and, just keep chugging along and continue each week to build on last week's performance. So, you got to take it kind of day by day and then say, here's how we're going to attack and, try and bring it to Tucson, because we feel like, when we're playing our brand and working and attacking and helping each other, we are, up there with the best of the teams in this league, and we can show that again this weekend. So that's what our goal is.
All right, Sunday nighter this week. It's interesting in that over the past few weeks, as somebody who is at every home match, I have almost felt like the fan base got more passionate, more into the game, louder while the team was struggling, waiting for that payoff. Have you guys felt that from the Riot, La Familia, the supporter sections, etc.? And how important is it to keep Legacy Early packed as we get into, the back quarter of the season where the table solidifies a little bit?
Yeah, it's massive. Like I said earlier, we have to give a lot of credit to our supporters group. You mentioned, Rhea River, La Familia, and anyone else that I might be forgetting, and just the general fans as well that come out week in, week out. Their support, even in that tough stretch, was really unwavering. And you've seen other teams where it might have dipped a little bit, and it might have been difficult for those guys when you don't feel like you have the support of your community. But, we feel like we have it, and, we're going to continue to try and use it to our benefit. And the more fans we have, the louder Legacy is, the more they can push us on, when we are needing a little energy boost or when things maybe aren't going our way. And trust me, when we scored some of those goals and, just feeling the crowd, kind of overjoyed again, it's an amazing feeling and encourage you to go and do more. So, we want to continue to do that and put on a show for these fans. So, hopefully we'll have a great crowd Sunday and continue with the, I think, 4 games after that at home. So it's a two-way street. Like I said, we're going to keep putting it on, and hopefully we continue to have the support from them.
Brandon Furkey is a defender for your Greenville Triumph, coming off of a 1-0 win over the league-leading Chattanooga Red Wolves on Saturday. They are back home on Sunday night against Tucson at Legacy Early College. Kickoff at 7:00, and tickets on sale now at greenvilletriumph.com. Brandon, my man, congratulations on a solid pair of back-to-backs at Legacy. Let's go get 9 this weekend, man. Appreciate it.
That's right, Rob. Thanks for having me, man. Let's keep it rolling.
Love it. Love to hear it. The boys getting hot at exactly The right time as your Greenville Triumph are back home this Sunday night. Quick break. We're back after this on the Rob Brown Show and ESPN Upstate.
I'm Christine Lisi. This is what you need to know. No sugarcoating from Jermichael Finley today when the former Green Bay tight end joined Keyshawn J. Will and Max, where he discussed his old team and quarterback Aaron Rodgers. As to why the Packers lost so badly in the season opener, Finley said he didn't see the preparation. Rodgers, Finley said he didn't see a work ethic in the QB as opposed to previous years. Calling the quarterback who never takes blame for himself. You can hear the entire interview with former Packers tight end Jermichael Finley on the Keyshawn J. Will and Max podcast. Browns receiver Odell Beckham Jr. will miss Sunday's game against Houston as he continues to work his way back from a torn ACL. Today, Jaguars coach Urban Meyer shot down speculation he may leave for the vacant head coaching job at USC, said there is no chance. He's committed to try and build an organization in Jacksonville.
Market Studios. ESPN Upstate. ESPN Upstate.
Odyssey Station.
This is for the men who never settle, the ones who believe only quitters end it. Not to shoot far with the biggest teeth. Compensate for theirs at home. This is the Lodge mentality. This is Twin Peaks. Worried about what you're breathing in? With each breath, allergens, germs, and viruses get trapped in your nose. Now there's a simple, easy, and effective way to clean your health. It's called Navage. Navage. Available at Navage.com. There's nothing worse than coming home from a hot day to find out that your AC unit isn't working. Like Priority Heating and Air. Your HVAC specialist will give your system a thorough checkup. And if you need a new unit, Priority Heating and Air is a proud distributor of the Coleman line of HVAC systems. So keep your family or business cool this summer and give Priority Heating and Air a call today at 591-1847 or find them online at PriorityHeatingandAirHVAC.com. Nobody protects you from mayhem like Allstate. On that heavy shelf
You have a Prisma in the next break.
Okay. Trendy.
Apparently, there's a mashup of Marvel movie people doing Uptown Funk.
Uptown Funk, huh? The 7-year-old Bruno Mars song.
Hey, you know, it still rocks. And they're showing Tom Hiddleston as the first guy, so you know you want to see that. Only if he's doing it in full Loki gear.
Correct. No, I don't want to see Tom Hiddleston do it. I want to see Loki do it.
Okay. In the horned helmet. Yeah, that's trending right now, by the way, what you were just talking about Saban. I'm just saying it, but I was not going to use that.
The audio is incredible.
I haven't heard.
It's incredible.
I'll have to check that out later.
I don't know. I mean,
I would not feel comfortable playing it.
you don't know. You haven't heard it.
Doesn't matter.
He doesn't say.
I know the subject matter.
Right, but he doesn't actually say the last part of the phrase. I'd have to let you listen to it first. I would play it, but I have to let you listen to it first.
Well, you can play it. You get capabilities over there.
To announce, just for the record, I am playing this, not Lonzo.
I think we already have record of that right now on the stream. So I don't care, but that market to a certain degree has been cornered on this station. So, you know, without mentioning other things. Wouldn't want a scathing text.
Correct. Correct.
Short window, you can push bowling.
Stoneman's Bad Bowlers Club is open for your registration right this very second. Ladies and gentlemen, we are looking for those of you that are bad bowlers.
Come on, you're not doing anything tomorrow. You're not doing tomorrow night. You're not doing anything.
You could hang out with me and Lonzo and Diesel. Optional, Stoneman.
Optional. Yes.
Optional. And you can put your bad bowling skills on display. And by the way, I would like to go so far as to say that even if you're a good bowler, you're allowed to sign up.
Yeah, I was going to say, because it's kind of singling out, making it sound like if you're a good bowler, you don't need to. No, we want you too.
Yeah, no, good bowlers. Good bowlers are encouraged as well. As if you are a good bowler, it does not necessarily mean that you are going to win, because there are going to be different ways that we structure the game in the format so that everybody's got a chance to win. We're going to have some prizes from Budweiser and Mick Ultra and Spare Time Entertainment, and you're going to get to listen to me and Lonzo and Diesel and Stoneman make fun of each other for a couple hours. So, you know,
I gotta say, out of the four of us, there's one guy that I don't think can heckle, even a bowler, and he's like myself, someone who works on two stations, and someone who has, is more famous than any of. Well, Stoneman's pretty famous. He's more famous than you and I. Now that'd be Diesel. I don't think he can heckle. I don't. Do you think he can heckle?
Diesel?
Yeah. Here's the problem, and I've been around people who speak in complete sentences even when they don't need to. Those people cannot heckle, and he's one of those guys. You can't heckle because you have to go straight to a certain degree. You have to.
Diesel's heckling is, my biceps are bigger than yours. I mean, he's not wrong.
True, but
my physical health and fitness than you do, therefore have larger muscles than you do.
That's what I'm talking about. That surprise, because it's
Diesel.
So because it's going to be entertaining.
It's going to be great.
$10. It's $10. A few games in there in 2 hours. You can, if you're just all about knocking down on pins, come on out and play that way. Or if you just want to come out and hang out, or if you just want to come out and stare at the famous Rob Brown, you can do that too.
I mean, don't stare. It's creepy.
No, stare, because that's staring is just as good as heckling.
Don't stare. It's weird.
Because if you come and stare at Rob, I would point out, hey, Rob, they're looking at you.
Please don't stare. It's awkward. But do come bowl. Go to sparetimeentertainment.com/Greenville or Classic Rock 1011 and register now for Stoneman's Bad Bowlers Club.
One last thing. If you're all by yourself, you can come out and hang with your friends.
If you don't want to be.
Yeah, if you don't want to be, they will put you on a team with like-minded individuals.
Yeah. Yeah. So we're taking teams. But if you are not, because I think that's what happens. I think a lot of people are like, oh, I don't have a team for the club. You don't need a team. They are creating teams. And listen, let's be real. If you register and you're like, yo, well, listen to ESPN Upstate, they're going to take all the people from ESPN Upstate and be like, well, these people are obviously awesome. They are fans of the #1 sports talk radio show in the state of South Carolina. So let's group them together and see what happens.
I want our stream fans on one team.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Come on, stream fans.
Yeah, let's get a stream team. The stream team.
There you go.
Come on and slam if you want to. All right, quick break. Wrapping up hour 2 next Gonna get weird in hour 3. You're gonna want to stick around on the Rob Brown Show. This is ESPN Upstate.
Prisma.
Prisma Health right here in the Upstate, the official healthcare provider for both the Tigers and the Gamecocks, and they will be the official healthcare provider for you if you want them to. What do I mean by that? Well, here's the deal. You want to ensure that whoever it is that is looking after your healthcare cares about your healthcare the way that you care about your healthcare, and you should care deeply about your healthcare. It is your priority, ladies and gentlemen. At least it should be. You can have all the money, all the toys, all the friends, all the family in the world, but at the end of the day, if you don't have your health, none of that matters. So go to prismahealth.org, prismahealth.org, prismahealth.org right now. Find out which one of the 2,400 healthcare providers within their network is right for you. Find a location that is close to and convenient to you. And once you do, you're going to find that Prisma cares as much about your health as you do. That is their goal, their priority. Go to prismahealth.org, prismahealth.org to learn more. It's our friends at Prisma Health right here in the Upstate.
What can give you a competitive edge in today's red-hot housing market? Rocket can. That's because Rocket Mortgage can give you a verified approval. It could help your offer stand out. Rocket Technology provides a rock-solid verification of your income, assets, and credit, giving sellers greater confidence in you. Go to rocketmortgage.com or call us today at 8338-ROCKET. A verified approval is based on underwriting analysis period, individual financial information,
At Ingles, we're proud to partner with USC Upstate Athletics to bring you the very best of Spartan sports. And we're also proud to bring so many great day-to-day options to the green and white faithful, like the best meat in town, crisp fresh produce, ice-cold beverages, and more. Whether you're loading up for that road trip or preparing for a race in, we've got you covered. Ingles, a proud sponsor of the USC.
You are staring.
Huh?
We're all staring. As Rob Brown approaches to throw his ball, he's hit 2 out of 3 strikes in the 10th frame. Got a chance for that coveted turkey. He notices all eyes on him.
So a number of years ago, by number I mean 2, I was, Lonzo, in the midst of the best game of my life. I had thrown strikes through like the 7th frame, and I'm looking for the scoreboard because I actually filmed it to confirm. But I had thrown strikes through like 7 frames. I was absolutely smoking. Best game I've ever thrown in my entire life. And then I realized as I was going that people had started in the lanes next to and around me had started to stop bowling and were watching me bowl. The guy I was playing with, who was my roommate at the time, was like skipping his turn so I could just keep going because I was hot-handed at that point. Anyway, through strikes all the way through I think I had 1 spare in like the 4th frame. I can actually video the score. So it was strike, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 6th and a spare in the 5th, strike, all the way to the 10th. And everybody's watching me in the 10th because I'm at a potential 290 plus game. I had a 6 spare in the fourth. Everything else was a strike. I went strike to open the 10th. 7-2 and left 1 pin because the bowling alley was watching me. Ended with the 262. I was that last pin falls. I'm at like 290.
It's wild, man.
That's what happens when I can figure the lane out. Real quick, I wasn't even going to go here, but I've gotten this text like 16 times, so I'll address it. And for the record, I'm not saying this is like a fight. I'm saying this is somebody who's looked it up. Texture says, Rob, not a vaccine debate, but have you seen that Bell's palsy has been linked as a side effect of the vaccine? Yes, I have seen that it is currently being studied as a potential side effect of the vaccine. I've read multiple medical abstracts on this, including one from Johns Hopkins the other night, that it is being studied as a potential side effect of the vaccination. It has not been labeled as one as of yet, primarily because while it is happening connected to the vaccine, it is not at such a statistically high mark as to be able to definitely say that the correlation equals causation. Correlation does not equal causation, meaning, yes, you can get the vaccine and get Bell's palsy. It does not mean they're connected. There could be any number of other factors, and they are being studied. But yes, I have seen that as a potential side effect, and I'll tell you, I'd get it again. So that text is off the table. We talk sports when we come back on the Rob Brown Show and ESPN Upstate.
QC Kinetics in the first break.
QC Kinetics.
Hey, where is it? Where'd it go? There you go. Hokey.
Download the Score app today. Lightning fast sports alerts so you never miss a thing. It's why the Score app is one of North America's most popular sports apps. With your ESPN Upstate Sports Center update, I'm Matt Pauley. Have you heard the Rob Brown Show? ESPN, you or a sports show, correct? The co-host couldn't watch the once-a-year All-Star game because of a family night, but if he watched it, he would have fell asleep in the first inning. I truly think if ESPN was aware, how are you guys on molesting their name, they would drop the affiliation. Do you think they would drop the affiliation of the nominated best sports talk show in the state of South Carolina? As that paper right there says. Yeah, you know, the other reason I baseball.
I should. Wonder if I can edit out nominated.
Don't need to. They know. They know.
The Washington football team. The Washington Red Wolves.
All right, welcome back. The Rob Brown Show's on your radio. It's ESPN Upstate. I am Rob Brown. To my left, the great Lonzo. 844-GSP ESPN. The Ingles Market text line is open for you as well at 71307. 71307. You can shoot us a tweet. Tweet us at The Rob Brown Show, twitter.com/The Rob Brown Show. You can tweet us at Lonzo on Word, Lonzo on WORD. And, of course, everybody at the station at ESPN Upstate, at ESPN Upstate. All the different ways for you to get in touch with the radio broadcast today. So we've been kind of bouncing all over the place today. We have talked a little bit about Trevor Lawrence and the game plan or lack thereof of Urban Meyer not too long ago and more. I want to get into another conversation that has really kind of grown. And this one is one of those conversations that I think it does and will need to continue to have some nuance involved in it. So John McEnroe, you know John McEnroe. You remember John McEnroe?
You cannot be serious.
That's John McEnroe. So John McEnroe, for the past couple of years, has been calling the tennises for ESPN Upstate. No, he hasn't. For regular ESPN. We should get Mac to call tennis for us. We really should. Anyway, he has been calling tennis for ESPN. Well, during the U.S. Open, he got into a little bit of hot water because during Wimbledon, he questioned the mental strength of Emma Raducanu, who is a young woman who plays tennis, obviously, who then, after leaving Wimbledon, won the U.S. Open. John McEnroe called it, quote, insane. The outspoken American has, of course, prompted criticism over the years. He said live on the BBC during Wimbledon that, quote, it appears that it just got a little bit too much, end quote. That came after Emma pulled out of the All England Club tournament with breathing difficulties. However, speaking for the first time after she bounced back with a flawless triumph in New York, he maintained that those comments were, quote, vanilla, end quote, and said, quote, I meant exactly what I said. I tried to relate it in a way to my experience when I first went to Wimbledon, also at 18, end quote. The 18-year-old caught up on some rest earlier this week. She showed off at the Met Gala on Tuesday in costume. She also spent some time talking with Liverpool manager Jurgen Klopp, who described her as inspirational and, quote, the talent of the century. Emma had first made waves at Wimbledon, becoming the youngest Briton to reach the fourth round since 1959. However, immediately after she was forced to retire from her match against Alja Tomljanovic with breathing difficulties while trailing 6-4, 3-0, the three-time men's champion faced viewer anger after saying, quote, it appears that it just got a little bit too much, as is understandable, particularly with what we've been talking about this last 6 weeks with Naomi Osaka not even here, end quote. Well, there was a bit of a row. That's what the Brits call a debate, a row. A bit of a row on the BBC, including from Piers Morgan. Piers Morgan supported the comments of John McEnroe, and while I will say that I'm not necessarily angered with John McEnroe here, I will tell you that traditionally, if Piers Morgan is in your corner, you're probably wrong. Andy Murray later leapt to her defense. Of course, Andy Murray, arguably the most famous British man playing tennis right now, though that is up for debate. He has struggled recently. Anywho, McEnroe attempted to draw a line under the controversy last night. He said he raised the issue as he also felt overwhelmed by his debut at the tournament, that he did not mean it as a negative, and that those comments were, well, he said vanilla. I mean, Quote, I mean, that was to me as vanilla as it comes. I was very supportive of her, I thought, at the time. McEnroe added that there was a lot of concern in British tennis, quote, along with people in her family and the people that work with her, at how she is going to be able to handle this sort of newfound fame. Quote, I don't think you could possibly do it any better than she did it when the U.S. did it when the U.S. Open. Are you kidding me? That's insane. And she's been able to do this. Now there's going to obviously be a lot more focus on it. It is incredible. End quote. So here's what ended up happening. During the tennis tournament at Wimbledon, she made it to the fourth round. She retired from a match. She was having breathing difficulties. It was chalked up to mental anguish. We also know Naomi Osaka, after she struggled leading up to the Olympics and at the front, she has effectively just kind of taken a hiatus from tennis. She said that losing is a huge drain on her mentally, causes anxiety, et cetera, et cetera. So she's going to take a bit of a break. McEnroe said, hey, look, clearly what happened at Wimbledon was too much for Emma Raducanu, and that, what she did at the U.S. Open was incredible. And there's this big discussion going on right now about, Texter says, Rob, do the rest of the show in the British accent. I didn't hear any SP slurring.
Yeah, I didn't want to say anything, but it was pretty concise and clear, and
So after John McEnroe made the comments that he made regarding Wimbledon, there's been much of a row regarding mental health of athletes. It's not good. When I try to do it, it gets worse.
It's Monty Python, and I don't think there's anything wrong with it.
When I try to do it, it gets worse. Hey, governor!
You're going now. I think more Michael Palin, maybe.
Yeah. So anyway, there's been a discussion, right? Because we've talked about the mental strength of athletes like Kobe Bryant, like Michael Jordan, like Michael Phelps, like Tiger Woods, like I was going to say Djokovic, but he lost this week. But you get what I'm saying, like the GOATs, right? Tom Brady. Talk about the mental strength of the GOATs and the fact that you have to be fair to say, Lonzo, that if you're going to be a GOAT, if you're going to be Kobe, if you're going to be Mike, if you're going to be Brady, you got to be mentally tough, right? Because you're going to get banged on like a lot. You're going to get banged on by critics. You're going to get banged on by media. You're going to get banged on by opponents. You're going to get absolutely banged on a lot by a lot of people and yourself too. And that, of course, doesn't even begin to discuss the amount of pressure that's heaped on you to succeed at your sport if you're going to be one of the top athletes of said sport in the world, as Emma Raducanu is attempting to become. And I realize I could be pronouncing that last name wrong, and I apologize, but it's about the discussion, not the name. So here's where I fall down on this. As somebody who is obviously a sports fan, but also somebody who has plenty of folks in his life that suffer from mental illnesses, mental issues, right? Depression, anxiety, et cetera, et cetera. These things are real. And they're more understood today than they ever have been in the past, though they are not necessarily fully understood by everybody. Unless you have anxiety, you can't understand anxiety. I am very fortunate in that I have never been clinically diagnosed with anxiety nor depression. But I also therefore admit that I can't understand anxiety or depression, and I can't understand what it must be like for a Naomi Osaka to have the pressure hyped up on her from a young age to be the next Serena Williams. And she does, and she has. Okay? I can't imagine the pressure that a Baker Mayfield must be to be the savior of Cleveland. Joe Burrow must feel to be the savior of Cincinnati. And these young guys have to take that weight, and they have to run, and they have to handle it mentally with a toughness that allows them to just dive in and focus on football to reach that level, or Naomi in tennis, et cetera, et cetera. Here's where I kind of think there's some nuance to this conversation that has to be found. Here's what I mean by that. I don't think Johnny McEnroe is wrong to say that clearly the pressure on Emma was too much at Wimbledon.
See, this is weird for you because you've never. I would put it akin to stage fright. Have you ever had stage fright to the point where you couldn't function on stage?
I personally have not.
And see, I have.
Sure.
So I get that. One time, I was playing piano for the first time, and my fingers just stopped moving.
Yeah.
And I was singing a song that I wrote. So my cousin came from the front row, slid onto the bench and slid me off the bench and started playing the piano for me, which was an amazing thing. I always remember that. But I knew how to play the song because I wrote it, and I should have been able to, and I could not. And my fingers just would not move. And I've had those points being on stage, and I'm putting this to akin to it because there are people watching you. There are people, it's the same sort of thing. I've been on stage having to talk in front of people, and it felt like my vocal cords wouldn't work.
Yeah.
And I've also had anxiety. I get anxiety going through the mountains now. I have no idea why.
Yeah, you and I have talked about that.
I can't breathe. I can't drive. I feel like my heart burst, and I've never had that problem before. So I get that. I get the more big. I get what that. Yeah. I don't think John McEnroe really said anything wrong. The problem is now, how do you describe it when someone, do you just not say anything about it? Something like this. And the fact that he described afterwards that he knew. You think Wimbledon. You just do. That's just the biggest thing. So imagine being there as a kid playing yourself. So I completely get why you probably have trouble breathing. I get anxiety. I get all that. But I just don't think what he said was that bad.
So I don't either. And, Lonzo, is somebody who is frequently labeled as the bleeding heart liberal of this radio station.
No.
Shocking, I know. I actually don't fall too far from McEnroe. Here's where you lose me. Where you lose me is when you start blasting these athletes as weak, right? Oh, that's weak. She's mentally weak. No, man, it's not weak. It's not weak. Some situations, because you don't understand them, doesn't make them like an easy thing to get over. It's kind of like it's a situation like where if Lonzo, who, by the way, you may know, Lonzo's in the public eye, well, the public ear, like a lot. And if Lonzo gets on stage,
I think you could say I too, because on Facebook Live 6 days a week.
Yeah. I have never had a situation where I've dumped on stage and just something is shut down. Right. But I know people in this business it has happened to.
And the bad part, when you're in the moment, you're inside yourself going, what is wrong with me?
You know what should happen.
Yeah. And you can't make it happen. You just cannot make it happen.
Now, this is the equivalent of looking at Lonzo when he got on stage to play music and going, Lonzo's mentally weak. I promise you he's not. I promise you he's not. Lonzo works harder than the majority of people listen to the station, me included.
I don't know. I might be mentally weak. If you are mentally weak, do you know you're mentally weak? Anyway.
Now, here's where I come down on this whole thing. Yes, I am incredibly sympathetic to Emma, to Naomi Osaka, to other athletes that have this issue where when they get put under the brightest lights, they can just, their brain just can't accept it. I don't think they're mentally weak. I think they suffer from something that a lot of human beings suffer from, whether it's anxiety or performance anxiety or depression or massive stage fright or whatever it might be. I sympathize with them. And I hate that Emma and Naomi Osaka, because of this, end up in a spot where they become fodder for shows like this one. I hate it for them. I can't imagine what that must feel like. On the flip side, I don't think there's anything wrong with John McEnroe saying this moment was too big for her, right? She failed. She didn't fail as a human being. She didn't fail as a person. And if you say she failed as a human or a person, you have failed. But she failed in that moment, right? How many times have we seen an athlete, Kelvin Benjamin, show up to training camp and be overweight and out of shape? Now, Lonzo and I had a whole discussion on the show. I said, hey, look, Kelvin Benjamin may very well have an addiction to food. He may very well have a mental illness that makes him addicted to food, that creates a situation where he can't stay in shape and it's costing him millions of dollars. And that might be true. And it doesn't mean we can't talk about the fact that Kelvin Benjamin didn't make the team. It's when you start degrading people for it because they don't live up to your expectations. Naomi Osaka's expectations might just be, I just want to play tennis, win some tournaments, make a few $1,000,000, retire and be happy. But I have seen people who have said things about Naomi Osaka on Twitter where, oh, you're never going to see this, that are horrendous. And it's disappointing. But I don't think anybody ought to be beating up on McEnroe because McEnroe said, what is McEnroe supposed to say there? She made it to the 4th round. Impressive. Youngest to do so from Britain on that side. And then the anxiety issues kicked up and she couldn't finish. The moment was too big for her. Maybe it's a delicate phrasing thing. Maybe we got to phrase it more delicately. But McEnroe wasn't incorrect. The moment overwhelmed her. I think where we need to be focusing is to get into the point where athletes aren't chewed up and spit out because they get overwhelmed in certain moments, but still recognize it happens. Kobe would not be Kobe. Kobe would not be Kobe without the Mamba mentality, right? That's why we make such a huge deal out of it. I'd be willing to bet there's a good chance, though, statistically speaking, it's almost inevitable that somewhere in America, at some point over the last 40 years, there was a high school basketball player that could have been better than Jordan, better than LeBron, better than Kobe, but mentally, he just didn't have that mentality. Here you go. I'll give you an example. And I don't think I'm going to get in trouble for it. I won't go with a full name. But on my high school basketball team, Lonzo, I had a kid on my team, 7'2", and you can't teach that. 7'2". Initials were MD. Not going to call him out by name. MD was 7'2". When you're 7'2", do you know what everybody tells you?
You should play basketball.
So we did. He played through high school. In our junior year, his senior year, we went to the state championship game. And in the biggest moment in the state championship game, he melted. Late in the game, we're down by a deuce. He gets the ball on a rebound, shoots it and puts it in the wrong team's goal. Scores 2 points for the other team. We ended up losing the state championship.
You didn't lose by 2, did you?
No.
Okay,
We got run in the end. But
I was going to say that'll make it pretty bad.
That was kind of the beginning of the end, right? We got run. So anyway, he gets a full ride scholarship to Western Kentucky, the Hilltoppers, and they were a pretty good team at the time.
I've actually been to that university before,
Really?
Accidentally.
Nobody goes there on purpose.
Well, we went to Mammoth Caves. It was raining. And I'm like, "Are we in a college?" And then, hey,
it's Eastern Kentucky. Go Hilltoppers.
Yeah.
Western Kentucky.
Believe it or not, it's on a hilltop.
Shocking. So he goes there, and he plays the first half of one season. And his brain just didn't want to play. Just didn't want to play. And he, in games, would just make mistakes to the point that one day he was like, I can't do it. I can't do it. I'm having anxiety. I don't want to deal with it. And he quit. And he quit basketball. 7'2", he quit basketball because he didn't want to do it. He would have, Lonzo, been in the NBA. We'd have been retired by now because we're in our late 30s and 7'2" guys don't make it that deep unless you're Shaq. But decided not to play. Turned down millions and millions of dollars as a 7'2", because he would have been in the NBA. As a 7'2", turned down millions of dollars, though, And I still heard people around my old hometown going, what a coward. What a sissy. Lonzo, if he played for a single year and made that much money, do you think a coward walks away from millions of dollars because they just don't want to do it? No. Mentally, he just didn't have it. And we got to stop beating athletes up for that. But we also got to say, there's nothing wrong with John McEnroe pointing out that right now Naomi Osaka doesn't have it to be the next Serena Williams. There's nothing wrong with that. That Emma Raducanu does not have it to be the next Serena Williams. There's nothing wrong with that. Quick break. I want your thoughts. We're back after this on The Rob Brown Show and ESPN Upstate.
QC Kinetics.
Our friends at QC Kinetics want you to be able to live your life without fear. Hey, maybe you're a tennis player. Talk some tennis, right? Maybe you're a little bit of a tennis player. You like to get out there and play with the kids. Maybe you're good. It's a sport you like to take the grandkids down at, remind them who's who. But you don't want to do it and have to deal with that joint pain the next day in your elbow from that forehand smash, that shoulder from that overhead nasty serve. You want to be able to do that without that pain, without that suffering. Well, you got to call QC Kinetics. Go to QCkinetics.com, QCKINETIX.com. Learn all about their non-surgical regenerative therapies that are going to help you feel better, faster, naturally without surgery, ladies and gentlemen, so you can go back to playing tennis with the kids or whatever else you want to do without the fear of that chronic pain. Hear from dozens and dozens of happy, satisfied clients from QC Kinetics at QCkinetics.com or call them right now. Mention the Rob Brown Show. Get that first consultation for free at 864-448-3772. 864-448-3772. It's our friends at QC Kinetics.
Rob Brown Show, what do you want to talk about? Okay, what's your name? All right, hang on, bro. Hit his 35th home run of the season. Chucky San gives up 4 runs on 5 hits with 3 walks and 5 strikeouts in 4+ innings. The series is set to continue tonight. Waska is to start for the Braves. He's 4-5. Antonio Sensatella will start for the Rockies.
Download the Score app today. Lightning fast sports alerts so you never miss a thing. It's why the Score app is one of North America's most popular sports apps. For ESPN Upstate Sports Center Update, I'm Matt Pauley. Play voice of the Browns at Gap this Friday on ESPN Upstate on the odds. Rebels, powered by your local leaders market. Now open, voted one of America's top haunts and #1 in South Carolina. Venture through the haunted house and trail full of elaborate sets, special effects, and top-notch actors. Play our creepy carnival games and escape rooms, or check out our brand new 18-hole Ghost Town mini golf. Grab your friends and get ready to scream. Located in Piedmont off I-85, exit 35. Buy your tickets now at madworldattractions.com. That's madworldattractions.com.
Don't know a strike from a split? Sounds like you're perfect for Snowman's Bad Bowlers Club. Hey, it's Rob Brown from ESPN Upstate. For 8 weeks, starting Thursday, September 16th, we'll be hitting the lanes for the gutters at Spare Time Entertainment on Congaree Road. Bring your team or just bring yourself, and don't worry if you're not that good.
Over to ClassicRock1011.com/bowl right now to sign up. Snowman's Bad Bowlers Club, only at Spare Time Entertainment, sponsored by Nickel. What's happening? It's your boy Q, host of Locked On Bets. My tag team partner Lee Sterling from ParamountSports.com provides all the fantastic intel on each event that we talk about on the daily. Some of our normal features, we got the WTF, that's the wrong team favorite. We got the blowout special, and my favorite, the lock of the day. Not only the lock, but what level lock is it? Locked On Bets, the best daily sports wagering show, period. Where you get your podcast.
I already used Capital One Auto Navigator. I found my car online and got pre-qualified instantly. All that.
Isn't it weird how if you dream all night, you're tired? I don't even remember what I was dreaming.
Believes in the power of moving forward. On the track, the court, or the field. Makes us the ability to change our perspective, to challenge us, to work for a better tomorrow. Movement can even bring us together when we're still focused on the next.
Thanks, George. We appreciate it. Yeah, I dreamt all night. It would be worth being tired if I could remember what I was dreaming about. If it was epic.
See, I don't remember my dreams. I just remember that I dreamed. Very rarely do I remember what I dreamed. Just that I did. You know what I mean? Like, it's like I wake up and I'm like, I remember something. All right, the Rob Brown Show rolls on. It's ESPN Upstate. Rob, Lonzo, and you. Hey, just a bit of a programming note. Tomorrow, Friday, and Monday, we got a little bit of a switcheroo coming your way, which, by the way, surprise, Lonzo, coming up in a minute, we're making our picks for the weekend, which I'm utterly unprepared for.
That is a surprise.
Yeah, utterly unprepared for, but we got to do it. Tomorrow, Friday, and Monday, Mark Ryan is out, so I will be moving over into that time slot and hosting Offside tomorrow, Friday, and Monday next. Carter Bryant will be here tomorrow to fill in for me on this show. Friday and Monday, Dan Scott. Well, no, Friday, Dan Scott's in. Is Carter back on Monday?
Yes.
Carter back on Monday. So Carter Bryant tomorrow will be here in the 12 to 3 slot. I will be 3 to 7 on Offsides with Diesel. Then on Friday, Dan Scott will be here from noon to 3 hosting the Rob Brown Show. Rob Brown will be with Diesel on Offsides. And then coming up on Monday next, Carter Bryant will be back to host the Rob Brown Show on Monday. And I will host Offsides one more time next Monday. Then next Tuesday, our programming goes back to normal. I will be here noon to 3, and Mark Ryan will return to Offsides next Tuesday.
I am so disappointed because I was looking forward to you singing me happy birthday Monday.
Is Monday your birthday?
Yeah, so I was looking forward to that happening.
I ain't against just showing up. I ain't against just showing up. You know?
We'll see.
For a second, you sniffed, and I'm like, is he crying?
Yeah, that was for effect.
Oh,
it wasn't real. I
Listen
just,
to you.
know.
Always with the producer's mind.
Theater of the mind.
So Hurricane Jeff writes in, says, Jeff says back in the 70s and early 80s, the diagnosis of ADHD and ADD and depression and things like that nature were not even considered because at the time there really was no such thing. Although it did exist in people, it was just never diagnosed. Now we do know that these things exist and we can come up with solutions in order to solve the problems brought about by these conditions. I have a 13-year-old with severe ADHD and requires medication in order to be able to attend school so he can avoid getting in trouble. So I can sympathize with people who can recognize when they have a problem and can acknowledge it. Have a great day, guys. Jeff, thanks for the text. And yeah, I guess that's really what it comes down to for me, right? Is the recognition of the struggles of other people. The recognition of the struggles of other people. I mean, look, and one of the things I see all the time, well, people are going to start using this as an excuse when they lose. Okay, so what? How does that impact you?
Well, that is a problem. The people who are genuinely affected by this, I hope they get help, and I sympathize. But the people who will use this as an excuse, I don't sympathize with them. And there's no way you can know what's real and what's not. And unfortunately, we live in a skeptical world. And as this continues to be something that's more in the limelight, the more skeptical people are going to become.
Here's what I'll say about that, because you're right. There will be people who will utilize that as an excuse when they lose. Lonzo, we don't ever have to worry about those people being great, do they? We never have to worry. If you are willing to make up a mental issue that is a real struggle for other human beings, if you are willing to make up for a mental illness in order to excuse yourself from losing, then I don't have to ever worry about you being great, because you won't be. You won't be. Now, Naomi Osaka and Emma Raducanu and these other folks that we've been talking about, and there are more, that deal. Who was the NBA player not but a couple of years ago was talking about he really struggled with depression. I'm trying to remember who it was. Kevin Love.
I was going to say Kevin Love, yeah.
Kevin Love. Kevin Love said the same thing. And Kevin Love said it absolutely impacted him as a basketball player, right? I feel sympathy for these people. And I'll say this. It's one of those situations where I don't care if 50% of the people who blame their athletic struggles on depression are making it up. Don't crack on those, because you make it more difficult for Kevin Love and Naomi Osaka to generally thrive in what they do. If there are people making it up, they're making it up. They'll never be great. You don't have to worry about it. But I don't think we need to remind, you're never going to be Kobe. Yeah, well, most people aren't. I got news for you, Zoe. I think we're pretty good at what we do. We got a trophy that says we are. And I got to tell you, I don't have the Mamba mentality. I wish I did. I wish I could teach it. I wish I could learn it. I wish I could train myself to have Kobe Bryant's mental attack of the game, but I don't. To have Michael Jordan's dedication to perfection, but I don't. You know, we try to work. We try to get better. We try to do better. We try to make the show better, but I don't have Jordan's drive. I don't have Kobe's drive, and very, very, very few people do. That's why when somebody does and reaches that point, it is so important to recognize that and respect it, because very few people do. The 98% of people don't have that ability. So don't bag on athletes that struggle. Don't bag on the Emmas and the Naomis and the Kevins of the world. Let them be, because they are far more regular, far more normal than Kobe and Michael and the rest of the greats. All right. Picks when we come back. My name is Rob Brown. By the way, I want to shout out to George Baker or Baker. Can't make it work.
Yeah.
It doesn't work right now. George popped into the Facebook chat and said, "Enjoy your show, guys. I watch it or listen to it during dialysis. You guys are the closest thing to Mike and Mike I've seen since they went off. Thanks for the good work. I look forward to you, and I have anxiety." Well, George, thank you very much, man. It means the world to us. How about that, Lonzo? Give the people what they want, man. Thank you very much, George. College and NFL picks for the weekend when we come back on the Rob Brown Show and ESPN Upstate.
See, now I can't say I feel anxious or anything about this, because it sounds like I'm making fun of the fact that you just decided.
You have anxiety.
You just decided, yeah, but not in this.
You have anxiety.
Not in this case. You just decided all of a sudden, hey, let's do picks. But I will have a built-in excuse if I do poorly this week. I will say it's because Rob sprung it on me and I wasn't prepared, as if I do vast
right,
as if I don't.
I was thinking about it, and I'm like, well, I'm not on here, so we have two options, which is one, I can make my picks on offsides, and I can have you make your picks here, and we can just put them together. Or option two is I spring them. I didn't do the research on picks this week. I'm picking all gut this week.
Well, with the program when they're hosting. They may not do any of this, so it'd probably be best to do it now.
Hey, this is Bill Donovan, General Manager at Breakaway Honda. If you ever thought a brand new Honda was beyond your budget, you owe it to yourself to spend a few minutes at Breakaway Honda. Our team is committed to getting you the lowest payment possible on a new Honda. As a matter of fact, many of our customers are getting new Hondas and lowering their current payment. Low payments and no hassle. I guess that's what makes us number one.
But up.
By the way, I know you haven't been to bowling at spare time, but what's cool is while you're there, you can they have people that will come around and take your order, and they will bring the food out to your lane. Yes, or drinks, or what they will bring it out, and they will constantly come out and say, "Hey, you need something else," that type of thing. So, and their restaurant's really good.
Love it.
So, trying to think what all I've had there. I've had pizza a couple of times and it was good. I've had fries. I think they have sliders. I can't remember. I think so. Ooh, they even have a share time sundae, a shareable treat pack with vanilla ice cream, pretzel, brownie, Belgian waffle pieces, mini marshmallows, crumbled Oreos, chocolate, and caramel sauces or caramel.
I bet you that if anything tasted good to me right now, that'd be an incredible dessert.
I was going to tell you they have wings, but we know that's not. Yeah, it's not.
Doesn't help. Opposite, it helps. It makes it worse, actually.
Yeah, pizza and flatbreads.
I did find something today.
Did you?
Apples. Apples taste like apples right now.
You were worried healthy stuff would taste good.
Apples taste like apples right now.
What kind of apples was it?
Just a red apple, like a
okay.
Granny Smith
Was it Granny Smith? Was it?
Yeah,
I mean,
an apple tastes like an apple, and that's pretty much all I found so far.
Have you tried anything with citrus yet?
I have not. I need to.
I hope that grapefruit doesn't taste good for you.
Is peanut butter, because apples and peanut butter has always been if peanut butter tastes good to me, then I'm on to something. I'll just be eating apples and peanut butter every day.
FanDuel.com/play. Age and location restrictions apply. Bonus issued is non-withdrawable site credit that expires after 30 days. Played for upstate sports junkies. These pathetic junkies.
All right, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, do we need a pick intro?
Yes.
We do. We need to put together a pick intro.
Yeah, we do.
It needs to be something epic.
Yeah, we do. I concur. We got a bunch to make, so we got to run through these real quick. And here's the fun part. Lonzo and I, we normally make our picks on Thursdays. Lonzo and I have not prepared for these at all. I literally just went and found the interesting games. I usually do all my pick work on Thursday mornings, Wednesday night, Thursday morning to have them ready for tomorrow. Didn't do any today. So we are picking on what we've seen so far. And we start in the world of college football. Lonzo, Nebraska is at Oklahoma. The Sooners, 22.5 point favorites. They got to win by 23 or better to clear the black shirts of Nebraska to cover. Spencer Rattler and the boys, or can Scotty's fellas get it done? The Cornhuskers inside of 22.5 or Oklahoma to cover?
I'm going Oklahoma to cover.
Yeah, it's a boring pick. It is, but I am too. I does anybody trust Nebraska? Like at all for anything, anywhere? Here's a fun one. We talked about these two teams quite a bit coming into the season, and now they match up. Lonzo, the Bearcats, Luke Fickell's Bearcats, 4-point favorites. Got an opportunity on a push for this game, and if you call the push correctly, it's a 0.2, but 4-point favorites are the Bearcats. Indiana's got to be within 4 for this line to hold. Do you like to cover by the Bearcats or Indiana to be close?
See, I need to put personal bias aside because if I recall, Fickell wrestled for Upper Arlington. I hated Upper Arlington.
Oh, what a jerk.
Yeah.
Absolute loser.
Yeah, they were really, really good. So I hated them in wrestling, and their wrestling practice was very difficult. I'm not going with Cincinnati.
IU for the cover. All right, Indiana inside of 3. I don't hate that pick, honestly. That was one of the tougher ones. Speaking of tough ones, I love this game.
Wait. What did you do? You didn't.
I should tell you that.
Yeah,
I should tell you. I'm taking Fickell's voice. Cincinnati.
Okay.
Cincinnati
all right.
clears 4. I think Indiana.
I'm not saying didn't figure out later what you want to do.
They're already typed in.
Okay. All right.
I love this game. Almost Heaven, West Virginia, 2.5-point favorites over Va Tech. Virginia Tech with that big win over Carolina back in week 1, Lonzo. The real deal, or are the Who's in play here? All the Who's got to do is win by 3 or better.
Man, I don't care about this game. So, okay, I'm going to go Virginia Tech.
Va Tech over West Virginia. I'm going the other way. Give me the Mountaineers. This one's at home. If this one was in Blacksburg, I would pick the Hokies. But in the hills, Blacksburg, ears by 30. Not quite that dramatic. Michigan State's down at Miami, Lonzo. The Canes, 6.5-point favorites in this one. They got to win by a full touchdown or better to cover.
Well, I heard Miami was back. I haven't seen it yet, but I've heard they're back. And I'm a Big Ten homer, so I'm just going to go Michigan State.
I concur with you. Going Michigan State on that one as well. Alabama is going to be on the road at Florida in this one. Interesting line. I called this one out specifically with Joe Giglio the other day, Lonzo. Alabama is only a 14.5-point favorite in this one. Only 14.5 points.
Has Florida improved that much? Has Alabama dropped that much? No, Alabama.
Yeah, correct. Easy. I only put that one in there because I wanted to inflate my win total at this point. I just need to get above 500, and that's an easy one to do it.
And I have some biases against Florida, so that's all I'm saying.
Georgia Tech at Clemson. We're going right up the road to Death Valley. The Tigers, 29.5-point favorites in this one, Lonzo. They got to win by 30 or better. Georgia Tech or the Tigers?
Have I seen enough from the Clemson offense to believe they can put up those kind of points? I'm saying no.
They got to score 30 and shut them out for this to hit.
I get it. I trust in the Clemson defense more than I do the offense right now. But yeah, I'm going against Clemson on this.
So am I. I'm taking Georgia Tech. Here's why. Clemson defense, very good. We mentioned that. Obviously, we've said that a couple of times, but at the same time.
Yeah, Clemson's going to win this game, but that many points. I don't know.
But I'm thinking about like 24-27 because Georgia Tech, what does Georgia Tech love to do? They love to just grind the football, take points out. And it's just a weird offense. Give me Georgia Tech to be inside of 29.5. Another one, Lonzo. This one 2 weeks ago, this wouldn't have been the line. But after last week, it has to be Florida State at Wake Forest. Wake, a 5.5-point favorite. They got to win by 6 or better. Do the Demon Deacons, does Florida State cover the 5.5, or can Wake win by 6 or better?
I'm going Florida State on this.
I need you to pick some teams differently than me, man. Listen, Florida State sucks. All right. I'm not arguing Florida State doesn't suck here. All right. Florida State does suck. However, teams don't lose to FCS and not bounce back a little bit. They're still going to be like a 3-9 team when it's all said and done. FSU, and I think they lose this game, but I think they lose by like 3. I think it's a good one. South Carolina's at Georgia, Lonzo. Georgia 32 and a half
Why'd you even put that on
point? 32 and a half, because it's a big line. 32
That
and a
is a
half
big
point
line.
favorites are the dogs.
If things go the way people probably think they will, there'll be some garbage time in there, and garbage time hurts lines from what I understand, because, kids get in there, they want to score.
Oh, yeah.
And they don't. I'm going South Carolina on this. That line's too big.
Zoe called.
Georgia's good.
So remember last week, Stetson Bennett, the fourth played. They didn't have their starting quarterback, JT Daniels, and they still went bizarre, but it was UAB. However,
I know
UAB is not an awful FCS team. UAB the week before blanked Jacksonville State, that then went and beat Florida State. So, transitive property football is dangerous, but it does exist for a reason.
Beamer's going to give the "Why not us? Why not today?" speech. They're still going to lose, but not by that much.
Why not us? Why not today? As Tom Grant once told me, sometimes the other team's just better than you are. This is the truth. The interesting game is not this week against Georgia. It's next week against Kentucky. Auburn is at Penn State. The Nittany Lions got to win by 7 or better. Lonzo sitting at 6 in the hook.
Penn State.
I knew you were going to go that way. You know what, Zoe? Let's get weird. Give me the Auburn War Eagle Tigers. Give me the SEC on the road. They always do. By the way, first time. Don't care. Whiteouts never work. Color outs never work.
Whiteout.
Give me Auburn. Virginia's at North Carolina. The Heels, though, 8.5 point favorites in this one. Can they get it done, or does Virginia show up and make the noise?
I recall all the praising of North Carolina coming at us from that side of the glass, that North Carolina this year was going to be their year, and doesn't look that way so far.
It really hasn't.
But I'm going to go with North Carolina.
So really, I kind of thought you were going to roll the other way. I thought this was going to be one of my makeup picks. Give me the Heels. Give me the Heels. They got to start somewhere. It might as well be this week. Virginia's physical, but Carolina is finally back at home.
Part of my strategy is knowing what you're going to pick too.
Jerk. Giants. We're going to the NFL now. The Giants at the Washington football team. Ron Rivera's boys, 3.5 point favorites in this one. Lonzo, can the G-men get it done on the road, needing to be inside of 4?
Do I believe in Heineke?
Do you believe in Taylor Heineke?
No, I do not. I'm going with the Giants.
Same pick again, ladies and gentlemen. I am not going to make up any ground this week. New Orleans coming to Carolina, 3.5 point favorites. This game got interesting now because of all the COVID issues going on in New Orleans. The Saints got to win by 4 or better.
I go with my heart too much in the NFL, but I'm going with Carolina in this.
All right, we got a difference. I'm picking my Saints. They played too good last week. It's a heart pick. Yeah, I know it's a heart pick.
I gave you one.
I know it's a heart pick. Buffalo at Miami. How about this one after knocking off the Patriots? The Dolphins, 2.5 point underdogs, Lonzo. Buffalo, Josh Allen and the boys, 2.5 point favorites over the Fins.
Wow, this is probably closer than a lot of people thought it would be. I trust in Buffalo more. I'm going with Buffalo.
So am I. Look, last week, everybody thought Steelers no good. I don't know, man. They might be a good little team in the Big Ben farewell season. Don't panic. Trust the process, Josh Allen. Buffalo wins by 3. Atlanta at Tampa Bay, Lonzo. The Buccaneers, 12.5 point favorites in this one, Zoe. The week after the Falcons get shut out by Philly, not shut out, but no touchdowns on the board for the ATL. Can Tampa Bay win by 13 or better, Zoe? I wish you could see the face of actual pain here.
I almost want to go the other way, but I'm not. I'm going to go with Tampa Bay on this.
You kind of have to. I thought you might. I might have talked you into taking
it. If Atlanta, because it's. I mean, they play each other all the time. But no, I can't do that.
I don't even need to waste my time asking about Kansas City as 3.5 point favorites over Baltimore, I assume.
Really? Still?
3.5 points.
Yeah, I'm going Kansas City for sure.
Yeah. Now, here's a fun line for you. Detroit's at Green Bay after what we saw last week. But, Lonzo, Green Bay is an 11.5 point favorite over the Lions. Lions fought back last week, showed some grit. More grit under Campbell than they show over Patricia's entire squad there. entire legacy in Detroit. But they find themselves, though, as 11.5-point dogs. Aaron Rodgers bounce back and get a 12-point win, or can Detroit make this NFC North rivalry interesting?
Aaron Rodgers I can do when I feel motivated, and they win big. I'm going Green Bay.
Come on, man. Give me some room to breathe here, Lonzo.
There's also reality here. I mean, we may be picking some of the same because you should pick them, you know?
Going into this week, I am 10-13-1. Lonzo is 12-11-1 on the season. So we will check back with these on Monday. Quick break. Wrap it up next on the Rob Brown Show. Rob, Lonzo, you this is ESPN Upstate. I figured that was going to get pushed. Ain't no thing.
Would be even less, but I killed a promo.
What's that?
I had to kill a promo, or
Yes.
we would have only had like 10
Not worried
seconds.
about it. Picks are more important. When you come back here next year, I want to do it again. Da 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 da.
One of the things that is trending is Anthony Mackie,
I saw that. What was it?
Twisted Metal,
Twisted Metal, yeah.
written by the Deadpool writer.
I'm here for it.
So it's probably going to be raunchy and weird.
Of course. And weird. Did you see my Facebook story I made?
You can try ZipRecruiter for free. This exclusive website, ZipRecruiter.com/Kellerman. That's ZipRecruiter.com/KELLERMAN.
This report is sponsored by Gatorade and Spinks. The SEC Football Championship is coming up, and you can win free tickets at Spinks. Now's your chance to win.
Yeah, it's coming up like in months.
Like in months. Fun NFL fact before we get out of here for the day. Lonzo, NFL history. How many quarterbacks have beat both Patrick Mahomes and Lamar Jackson?
1.
There are 2.
Okay.
Ryan Tannehill, Derek Carr.
Really?
Only 2 to have done it. Isn't that wild? Mark Ryan Diesel up next with All Sides. Remember, tomorrow, Carter Bryant will be filling in for me. I will be on Offsides tomorrow and Friday. Tomorrow, we're live from the Ingles in Greenville. So make sure you're following us. We'll tell you all about it. Y'all have a great rest of your day. Don't drink and drive. I'll punch you in the face. For Lonzo, I'm Rob. This is ESPN Upstate. Later, brother.